If you don't want that, then fight. Even if that means you have to force them to listen to you. The words of someone who doesn't fight will never reach anyone.
Well, you had better hear me today. It's because you consider me a vagabond leader that I'm not to speak here. Well, you had better cut those neckties off of them black boys that you put in our district. Because they don't know what's happening. And I'm from the pits of nigger hell. And I know what's happening. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy because I want America to be saved? Riots that goes on in this country, in any city. The city is better than Pittsburgh. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
諸軍総大将官名より全蘇兵に次ぐこたびの栄えある海戦の一陣我ら蘇軍が受けたまった
なんだこのバカでけえ声は。
隣の戦場だぞ。この戦で秦は滅ぶ。この戦は深く歴史に刻まれること間違いない。この大戦の口火を切る誉れ高き者は林北貴様だ。おう、
先方は。
よっしゃよっしゃ。我が名はその豪将林北。林武君、そこか。同金の敵は我こそこの壮大な戦の幕を開けるものである。死を揺るがすのは誰か。天を震わすのは誰か。沈め戦軍。戦軍突撃じゃ。将軍に続け。
さすが公将軍、そうこなくったよ。俺たちも続くぞ。突撃だ戦隊。この大戦の口火を切るのは俺たちだ。
Hey, what's up, man? It's your guy Ray Hama, 1 versus a million. I'm not your fan, I'm not your stand for I am brother. And good morning on this Saturday morning. And yeah, I gotta weigh in on this. Yes, as you guys know, whenever injustice is being done when injustice has been done to us black folks, I gotta cover it. So, and yeah, and as you guys are all well knowing of the tragic tale of our young brother Nolan Wells, and may he rest in peace. I want to say that first. May he rest in peace with God the Most High, and may God bless his family and keep them safe in his protection, especially away from all these wicked ass demons. In Christ Jesus' name, amen. And yeah, man, it's just super wild. Like, you know what happened to him? Him basically found on the shore, the Mississippi shore, during the 4th of July of this part, this this little event that was happening there with his white buddies. Yeah, and there is there's a whole bunch of people there and everything else, and nobody's seen nothing. So yeah, it's just a bunch of crazy ass corruption is going on, like deep corruption, as you guys already know. And from the autopsy, reports, yeah, it's too wild. Like him missing missing organs when it when it came time for his second autopsy. Yeah, it's that this shit's too wild. It's too damn wild, and we can't keep having this shit. We're going to share some videos today uh, from sources, from a couple of sources, and shout out to each of these sources, such as Willie D. Shout out to him and for covering this, for staying on top of it. I mean, he's another brother that's really staying on top of it. Him and John Oliver from from Comedy Hype, from Comedy Hype News. Shout out to him. Shout out to them over there for staying up on it. And uh, and yeah, I just want to say too, man, with this shit, it's just nah, it's bullshit. Because one of the things I want to say before I go on, I just want to say some things before I dive into the videos. But for one, right, the phone, the phone that was placed at the spot where they claim, or where he was at. I mean, where he wasn't at, but where he was at, but he wasn't there, and he did not die at that spot or where they found him. He was placed there, and so I'll say, yeah, in that phone, the family they went out there, and the GPS, the phone, and they found it wiped and all that. So yeah, this it is too the suspicion is too damn great, and they're trying their best to play the shit off. The friends, the so-called friends, or I say a number of hell spawns, demons, and their asses should be, yeah, for something like this, yeah, their asses should be apprehended. Like their asses should be they should be put in jail in some kind of holding, because we know they'll do that to us with the quickness. It's not far fetched. Don't say, "Oh, Ray, they wouldn't do that." Well, it's not far fetched to believe that, man. With all the crazy shit these people have done to us, from police to to regular civilian. And there's some people, cold-hearted, wicked-ass people, say, "Well, you should know better. Hang around all the white folks." Man, y'all need a boot up the ass. F y'all. So what's your recommendation? I mean, I got some, in regards to, okay, yeah, and teach your kids, for what it seems has been made totally apparent over the years, and with other cases too, of black boys and black girls getting well, and also black women um, getting done in by these groups, by hanging around groups of white people. And it shows, yes, that it's true that it's best to have a little group of your own, two or three, of your own with you, while you're hanging out with these white people. And to be cautious and to, yeah, because even though if you do have something, but being the only black person with them in that group, even if you did have something, to protect yourself, you know what I mean? Like that fire on you. And if you end up, succeeding and coming out alive, but those who went all, who snapped on you like they took the damn rage virus type of shit, and so therefore they're going on their white man killing rampage, but they end up getting done in, yeah. And you came out on top, oh yeah. They're gonna definitely make sure you ain't coming out on top like how they will. So therefore they're gonna be seeking to try to punish you. Therefore, put in a situation where where it says, hey, it's no win on either side of it. So it's like best to, not hang out with them, when you're by yourself, or have like a little small group of other black folks with you, who you trust, who's not gonna be on no bootlicking shit. Or find find others, find other black folks who share some of the same interests and um, views and aspirations. So therefore you ain't got to look at like, oh man, I can't find that in other black people because they're like one or two archetypes. Yeah, you can't look at them like that. No, there's multiple archetypes. So yeah. So you just gotta believe that there's plenty of you of your particular archetype. Because yeah, when I was growing up, I didn't believe certain. Well, I didn't believe there was a bunch of group of black people that shared some of the same interests as I. I knew they were out there, but it was just they was hard to find. So I mean, so whenever the opportunity comes that the person I connect with happens to be non-black, then we make that connection. We're cool. But and I will share a story too, real quick, about my time when my close close to danger encounter with dealing with some silly ass white folks. And it was at a time when I was working at a particular security, well, at a club in Indiana, and yeah, I quit that job sometime after that. I was like, yeah, I was like, fuck these particular white people. I'm cool, but I hung out with these little small group of white folks, or whatever. It was like three or four of them, and one of them was a chick, so a white girl. And and this wasn't the first time I hung out with them at their house or whatever. Uh, especially after we get off work from the club and shit. So, but this one particular night, right? We were smoking and drinking, whatever they think, I'll be too buzzed to realize whatever, or just be all, oh, okay, yeah, like, no, no, no. I mean, I'm like, thank you, Lord, for putting that on my spirit, man. And to have the courage to respond off of it, amen, by by not engaging any further dealings with these white folks, because these motherfuckers asked me, right? And they was egging it on too, man. Like, acting like they're trying to peer pressure motherfucker. Like, nah, that ain't gonna work. But try to peer pressure me to go out in the dark to drink and smoke with them in the woods. And yeah, so and I told him I figured, oh yeah, you know what? I got so annoyed to where I was like, all right, you know what? Hey, I'm going to the truck, man. Yeah, I'll be back, man. Yeah, yeah, we might do that, man. Let me just go check and get something out the truck. I got out of my truck and peeled the hell off. You ain't gonna catch this nigga in no Blair Witch shit. Fuck you. You hear me? Shit. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, because it's obvious, it's clear. You know, it's clear as day for a lot of people to see that yeah, that white folks to many degrees are effed up. In the same as, when it comes to black folks or whatever, there's some things that are effed up with us too, but but we have our own distinctions with it. So yeah, and our clear differences between the two. You don't see a bunch, black mass shooters, none of that. No, that's y'all. You don't see a bunch of black folks that are, going to burn up churches. No, you don't see that shit. No, nor you see black folks being on some Silence of the Lamb shit. No, you don't see that. So, nor do you see black folks them in here want to be on some. We don't be nipple twisting each other and be hitting each other on the nuts and shit. Nah, nah, we don't do none of that, Bubba. Amen. So, so yeah, there's clear cut reasons like why like you shouldn't be like lingering around the motherfuckers like that for that damn long. You know what I mean? But the thing is, though, too, there are some really cool, down to earth, legit, you know, and loyal and not on no funny shit white folks. And you may have some who thus have proven, you know, that loyalty to you of not being on some crazy ass shit such as this what we've been experiencing. For it seems to be too much of a coincidence or happen chance, you know, for it to not be some propaganda to take out black people. Propaganda that's been set for decades. And for some reason now it's all like revving up. Well, not for some reason, because it says it in the Bible, yet it just come close to the end times type of stuff. So yeah. Um, so it's best to just get prepared for war, you know, in the physical and in the spiritual. All right. So with that out, I'm gonna try to say that, and it just irritates the hell out of me. And plus, two, I'm like, where's the same vigor you guys have? You guys who are so-called not coons. Where's the same vigor you have when you're riding so hard against black people, against black men in particular, when they do something wrong, it's clear cut wrong, especially against another race. You're like, no, don't do that. No, I mean, you're like, look, y'all, this is what I'm talking about with niggas, man. Like, nah, man, see, this why, man, you can't fuck with men. There's a bunch of niggas like that, man. Man, come on, man, like, stop it. And I do get what some of them say. Well, I don't want my kids to, you tell me don't hang around a bunch of white people by themselves. Shit, hell, I don't want my kids to hang around a bunch of Jaquans and Tyrones and Pookies and man, come on, dude. Even though I heard one cat say this, well, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty other other black dudes who have said this shit, man. I'm like, look here, how naive and just small-minded, one-dimensional your dumb ass is. Yes, to all you guys who said some of the same lines as that shit right there. For one, what I mean by one dimension is that you're looking at okay, that when it comes to black people, when it comes to black man, there's only one or two archetypes. Like, come on, man. So no, like, motherfucker, it's there's plenty of decent, black man that you would rather for your son, your black son, to hang around than deal with a bunch of swine, a bunch of crazy motherfuckers. Especially then when I hear about that boy who these white folks let drown. Who, like, come on, man. And it was mocking them and shit too. I think it was all like what they call that kayaking shit or whatever. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, man. Like, how many, how many black, how many black men has to die before you motherfuckers just realize it? Like, yeah, and just start putting shit into gear out of that awareness instead of just being nonchalant and willfully obtuse. Shit, the hell. And the thing is just that I see that there's black men and black people who hold so much hatred towards their own because of bad experiences from one or maybe two archetypes of American black people. So therefore, they find it hard or difficult to express the proper and necessary empathy and sympathy towards the plight of their own fellow black man, especially when they are straight across the board, universally just innocent. Black dudes like that, yeah, man. Y'all can't. There's no brotherhood to be had within you type of guys. You guys are just a lost cause. There's no point in talking to you, debating you on these damn platforms and shit like that. No, you type of a slick boot looking motherfuckers are in the same like nonsensical, useless category as these damn strag demons when it comes to uh yeah, being energy drainers, energy vampires, male energy vampires. That's what you are, and that's what it will be to engage, to be able to engage in any kind of like true, meaningful discussions, especially when one is trying to do so in good faith. It's just it's nonsensical. I mean, it's you know you'll be allowing one will be allowing themselves for their energy to be drained by such people, by being willing to continue to engage with them because you have some lingers of hope within you that they would change and be like, yeah, you're right. And I will adjust my characteristics to that very correction that you just made. Thank you. No, they're not gonna do that because they get a thrill off of purposely being a highly annoying contrarian. So so that's what I say, man, with these people, man, when it comes to, cats like that who express such hatred towards their own to where, and point out the negatives within their own, within black people, to where they fail to see, or to have a heart towards black people who are straight up innocent. So, sometimes it's kind of bewildering. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into these videos. As I got plenty to go through. So yeah, from we start with Comedy Hype. So yeah, and shout out to him. Shout out to that team over there, Comedy Hype News. All right. So yeah, let's dive into it, man. And for the story, we're going into the story thus far, which you guys should already know very well of. But this will be my first time covering it. To show me as another black man that cares about this because I'm one who's also been wronged, whose rights has also been violated, who also could have been killed by this same or deleted by this same effed up matriarchal democratic system. But yeah, but the focus is on Nolan Wells, justice for Nolan Wells. Here we go.
Reporting live from Hypers Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba. As more information comes out in regards to the mysterious death of Nolan Wells, it gives us more understanding as to what happened that day, as well as what could happen next. On Wednesday, it was revealed that Wells' parents and representatives would meet with Mississippi DA Angel Myers McIlrath to begin looking at the next steps into the case, as the DA would confirm she would now be presenting the investigation to the grand jury. Now, upon researching what we currently know about the case, Nolan's friend and operator of the boat can now be expected to face a series of charges under maritime law. For those who don't know, in general, maritime law is a special body of law designed to govern issues on sea. Every boat and boat operators are expected to abide by these laws or face punishment. Now, one of maritime law's biggest things stressed for boat operators is known as duty of care, which is a legal obligation requiring ship owners, operators, and employers to protect crew members and passengers from harm by maintaining a safe and seaworthy vessel. Now, one thing that looks to be going under the radar is that a passenger is technically considered anyone who left with you on a boat you are operating, and at all times you as the boat operator are deemed responsible for their safety. Now, despite the circumstances that Wells supposedly wanted to stay, it still can be argued that he's still a passenger of the boat that would leave Horn Island at 4:30 p.m. And the fact that Wells was left with no communication, given that his phone was on the boat, makes things worse for the operator. Again, a boat operator's responsibility is to return the specific passengers they brought out. Now, according to research, despite people being there on Horn Island, still does not fully excuse the boat operator from liability, but it can change the severity of the situation. Now, if it is proven that a recreational boat operator would leave Wells knowingly with no phone and a way to communicate for safety and still left, does confirm that that was negligent behavior on the boat operator's end, which for some cases that involve a loss of life, the operator can be charged with involuntary manslaughter and reckless behavior. Now, another thing that would stand out for many is the already drinking that was proven to be taking place that day. Now, it has not been confirmed if the boat operator himself was drinking, but if he did, that would result in another charge known as BUI, or boating under the influence. Which is why for many, the sheriff's initial reaction to the incident, with no arrest being made swiftly, despite the viral picture of 18-year-old Wells and his friends, seemingly of the same age, holding beers in their hands, was not a sense of conducting a thorough investigation. It made some feel that a cover-up was taking place. Now, in the state of Mississippi, the legal drinking age is still 21. Now, to tie it all together, if the toxicology report comes back and Wells was deemed intoxicated at the time of his death, it will multiply the boat operator's liability due to the effects of alcohol in judgment. One of Wells' friends, Tracy Shepard, who was assumed to be around the same age as Wells, would publicly confirm that there was drinking in an interview with ABC News. He said that he and his group of friends, which included Wells, had been drinking alcohol since the late morning. Now, going back to Wells being separated from his phone, in which his parents would point out was an immediate red flag. If it is proven that the boat operator ultimately left with Wells' phone on purpose without Wells' consent, it can be viewed as a level of theft. To note, Wells' family had to reportedly track his phone down to get it back. So for some, it does not appear that his phone was willingly returned. As reported here, GPS and audio have now been released from that day. And according to an extended version of the tow call made, there were about 7 people on the boat according to the boat's operator. Now, it is unclear what specific boat was driven that day, but upon looking up the boat's vessel number, it looks to be a 2000 Triton boat, which comes in different sizes. Now, if it was also discovered that the boat was past capacity, it can lead to another issue for Wells' friend and boat operator. Now, despite all these proven possibilities, the governor of Mississippi may have exposed himself as either not knowing maritime laws, or for some is trying to cover up the wrongdoings in this case. On Wednesday night, the governor of Mississippi would finally share his public reaction and would upset viewers by stating that he hasn't seen any signs of foul play with what he's seen so far.
I don't know all of the facts surrounding the case. I have yet to see a fact or a piece of evidence that suggests any foul play. But if there is, I feel confident that the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, the members at the Department of Public Safety that deal with these crimes, if there had been one, they will find it and they will do what is necessary.
Now, part of his statement, the governor would also confirm that he and Sheriff Ledbetter, who is leading the investigation, are really close. For many, the movement Justice for Nolan appears to be a cry out to a justice system that is supposedly to hold no one above the law, especially when people have been arrested and swiftly apprehended by police for lesser crimes. Nolan Wells will be laid to rest on Monday in Ocean Springs, and his preliminary autopsy findings, according to his family's attorney Benjamin Crump, will be released soon after. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. As more information has come forward, what is your theory now as to what happened to Wells that day? And what is your reaction to hearing the governor of Mississippi expressing he has yet to see any signs of foul play? Reporting live from Ibis Club, Fright Plus News, I'm John Abba.
I say that motherfucker's full of shit. Governor of Mississippi, telling me you don't see no evidence of foul play. Well, as that was like a week ago now, with this autopsy, and with this conspiracy and this wicked, corrupted, this cover up of this autopsy. Yeah, definitely, it clearly shows that that the governor of Mississippi is full of shit. It was clearly foul play. That his phone was placed there at that location where his parents found it. It was placed there because it was wiped. His phone was wiped. They cleared out any evidence of them having any link connections with him. So I'm like this. All those whom it would be presumed whose numbers he would have in his phone, if his and messages and all that shit, with his friends, whatever, those whose so-called friends, if their info and all that is not within that phone, then I will hold them with high suspicion. And I'm telling you, boy, man, like this causes every parent who hasn't went through this, man, this type of stuff yet, and God forbid, any of us who hasn't, don't that we don't experience anything like this. Um, because Lord, I'll be on some taken yeah, all that kind of shit. Uh, black version. Uh, yeah, boy, mm, just all I want to say, boy. I'll just tell you, man. Like, uh, I would have them detain my damn self. Best believe that. And the dumbasses don't know them. You angered a bunch of people across this whole nation, especially those whites who have black in their family, whose kids or grandkids are black, who have shown to fight other white people over them. Yeah, I just don't think you motherfuckers realize the graveness and the severity of the situation. Of the fact that you motherfuckers should be in fright. You corrupted evil bastards who think them you should be able to get away with doing all kind of evil shit towards black people. Because I say that to say this, you created so many enemies. It won't be hard for one to link up with them to get some shit set up to where they'll be able to have some shit established to where they can or, or may have a location, a secure location to take such corrupt people and evildoers, to detain them and to get all the info they want out of them. Because boy, mm, if some of them demons were detained, boy, hey, and really questioned, oh boy, especially by those who can keep their, even though there's family members, and they're able to keep their emotions intact and apply the proper pressures upon them to get the info up out of them. Psh, we don't need to go in no Sherlock Holmes mode about this shit. It hey, we'd be like, we got the perp now, so we got some confessions. Hmm. See, I'm just. Hmm. Oh, okay. Well, next episode. Next video from Comedy Hype. Shout out to Brother John.
Reporting live from Hypers Club, Fright Plus News, I'm Janaba. It's now been 15 days in which Nolan Wells will go on a trip with his friends, who some are now questioning if they were his friends, to Horn Island, located about 10 miles off the coast of Mississippi, where his friends would return, but he would not. According to his friends, Wells would decide to stay back because he took interest in a girl. Now, what would raise immediate questions for Wells' family, who would find out he was missing around 11 p.m. that night on July 4th, why wouldn't Nolan have his phone with him if he was going to be separated from his group, with no ride confirmed to get back? It is because of this, many are having a hard time believing that 18-year-old Wells would leave his cell phone on a boat he traveled on and somehow hitch an unconfirmed ride back to mainland without any way of letting his friends or family know he made it back safely. Wells's body would be found 2 days later, washed ashore in the same part of the island his friends would depart from. Now, a part of his mysterious death lies race, given that Wells appeared to be the only black person amongst his group of all white friends that would travel to and from the island. Now, according to his football stats, Wells is described as being 6'1" and approximately 180 pounds, which has become another reason for some that his passing can't just be a simple drowning, because someone should have noticed him. Now, to note, there are no lifeguards on Horn Island, meaning that there isn't someone always watching the island's visitors. According to CNN's description of the island, there are no facilities, no drinking water, no structure, and no emergency services on site, meaning the island comes with a level of risk, or for some is the perfect place for a crime scene. On Friday, Wells's mother would take to Facebook to cut through the noise of commentary and racial division by speaking out that she just wants to know what happened to her son that day. Now, despite new GPS and audio information being released and the local sheriff's office investigating the case, Christine Wansley would admit she still has no idea what happened to her son 14 days later. My husband and my goal has and will always be to find out what happened to our son, Nolan Wells. Don't ever get that confused. From the looks of her statement, it appears that her form of justice is finding out what exactly happened to her son. While it also exposes a huge issue for many, why haven't authorities given her an account of what happened to her son that day? To note, at the top of Nolan Wells' mysterious death, Jackson County Sheriff Ledbetter would express he didn't see any signs of foul play initially, causing some to accuse him of trying to cover the incident up, and showed how unjust the system can be when dealing with black lives. But now, as more and more people continue following the case, it looks like that he and his office will take a pivot, as a grand jury will now examine all of their findings that will hopefully reveal some questionable accounts about Nolan's death. Now, it is because of this lack of information and the fact that many don't know what happened to Nolan when he was reportedly last seen at 4 p.m. that day by anyone, after allegedly seeing his friends at 3 p.m., has caused a series of theories to take place, along with the most recent information.
Boat data came in from Nolan Wells. Okay, you did a whole lot of damn traveling for that boat to be damn messed up. Look, at 9:56 a.m., that boat leaves to go to Horn Island. Okay, green, that's fine, ain't nothing wrong with that. Look, the boat arrives at 11:14 at Horn Island. Fine, that adds up to me, right? Then you leave at 4:31 p.m. All right, so y'all had a good little time, but I don't know if Nolan Wells was on that boat or not. Something tells me that he was on that damn boat. Look, this is where it gets real fuzzy. From 4:31 to 5:52, they done took a damn U-turn. They went somewhere and they went to Fort Bayou. Okay, well, I thought the damn boat was messed up. You were supposed to go from Horn Island back to the dock. Y'all took your asses to Fort Bayou. Why? What was there? The boat was messed up. Why would you go there? Look, then you leave Fort Bayou and you return to the original spot at 6:06 p.m. So from 4:31 to 6:06 p.m., there is fuzziness in here. That's about an hour and a half. If I'm not mistaken, about an hour and a half. Something happened to Nolan Wells in between this time right here. For them leaving that damn Horn Island to returning back to that, something happened at Fort Bayou. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Look, and then, then after 6:06 p.m., you carry your ass back to Fort Bayou. Probably to check the scene out, make sure everything's clear. For whatever y'all damn did. So then, after 7:19, look, the boat was transported by car to Biloxi, Mississippi. Now, y'all got some explaining to do. What happened between 4:31, basically between 6:00 and 6:06? But for real, what happened between 4:31 and 7:19? What the hell happened? Y'all know. And then the best friend told my son, well, he not even the best friend, because the mama cleared that up and said, you know what? That ain't his childhood friend. I don't know no Tracy. Why would his mama even name him some stupid shit like that? I don't know him. Some said we ain't want to see him die. You ain't want to see him die, then what the hell, what you do to see him die? We all didn't want to see him die. Yeah, you better stop talking, young man. You better stop talking, young man. And I think they paid you to talk. But now you sound like a fool. What happened?
Now we have the timeline from the boat GPS, which clearly shows that the boat returned back to water. This completely contradicts the conversation around the boat taking on water, like the mother Ashley Cole said. The questions around this case are alarming. If you watch today's press conference with the family, you can see they know something. Something came in that independent autopsy that they're not telling us, and I think I know why. They're not bringing in a grand jury unless they have a case. My question is, why haven't the boys been picked up for questioning? Why haven't their phones been confiscated so we can see all of the timeline of them having conversations? Why haven't any of them talked to the press? Why didn't any of them go out looking for Nolan even though that boat moved around in the water after they said they left? Why hasn't the autopsy been released from the state? What are they waiting for? There's a lot of heavy unanswered questions in this case. But I think it's safe to say that we all feel the same. At almost 400 people in that live, and most of us said the same thing. Something happened, and they're hiding it.
The more information that comes out in the Nolan Wells case, the more questions I have. So let's look at this timeline. Let's talk about it. At 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the dock. At 11:14 a.m., the boat arrives at Horn Island. And around 3 o'clock p.m., Nolan is reportedly last seen. At 4:31 p.m., GPS shows the boat leaving Horn Island without Nolan. Sometimes after leaving the island, a distress call was reportedly made claiming the boat was taking on water and needed assistance. The exact time of that call is not publicly confirmed. At 5:44 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock. 5:52 p.m., GPS shows the boat traveling into Fort Bayou, and at 6:06 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock again. At 7:19 p.m., the boat goes to the Fort Bayou boat launch. Again, around 11 o'clock p.m., the Coast Guard says it was notified that Nolan was missing. Now, here's what I'm trying to understand. If the boat had a mechanical emergency that required everyone to leave the island, when exactly did that happen? How serious was the issue? Why does the GPS show the boat continuing to travel afterward? Why the additional trips to Fort Bayou? And if Nolan was last seen around 3 o'clock p.m., why wasn't the Coast Guard notified that he was missing until around 11 o'clock p.m.? Listen, I'm not saying this timeline proves anyone committed a crime. I'm saying there are questions that deserve answers. That's why the GPS data, Coast Guard records, phone records, and witness statements all need to be compared.
When I was putting together the timeline and piecing it together, there were two things that stuck out to me. One was there were several trips back and forth, and two, there is an hour and 13-minute time gap, and I'm going to talk to you about it. So first, at 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it. Here's a quick snippet. This is the only little snippet I could find.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan is on there? Who was on that boat? At 4:31, the boat leaves Horn Island and it is towed approximately 3 miles, and then the tow ends. So after 3 miles, they go back to the original dock, okay? They arrive at 5:44 p.m. So it looks like this is where Horn Island is, and this is where the original dock is that I am referring to. I looked it up, and El Camino Real Road is in Gulf Hills, Mississippi, which is right above Ocean Springs. So I'm wondering if this is the house where they got the phone. Now, the boat travels to Fort Bayou. At 6:06, the boat returns to the original dock. Then, from the original dock, the boat goes back to Fort Bayou, and then they go to the boat launch, and it is put onto the trailer and moved by the vehicle. Now, it doesn't specify what part of Fort Bayou it goes to, but it looks like on this map right here, this is where it looks like they took the boat out. If there's any locals that know this area, please chime in, let us know your thoughts. So here's my question. Did they drop people off at the original dock, travel to Fort Bayou, pick somebody up, and go back to that original dock? And then from there, why was there an hour and 13-minute time gap? This boat was sinking hours before, and then they're just having it docked for an hour and 13 minutes. You would think they'd want to get that boat out of the water ASAP.
Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we've heard Wells' mother reveal that she and her family still don't have an answer to what happened to Nolan 2 weeks after his body was found on a Mississippi beach where he was last seen amongst friends, why do you think that is? And what are your theories with the newest released information? Reporting live from Ripers Club, Fright Plus News, I'm John Abba.
I'll say my theories is this. Is it like that it's like that one black woman said, how damn it. She said, how come damn it, they were detained, their phones confiscated so they can see the communication timelines, you know what I mean, and who else they may have contacted to help them to cover it up, if not to set it up in the first place, because of out of jealousy of him messing with a white girl, which is what I was told of how this, which is what I was told of how this all started. You know, argument. They was arguing, and argument, had to been over a white girl. So, and I'm like, hey, on that tip, you white dudes just, some of y'all seem like y'all sucking or whatever, but it just still seem like it bothers y'all. So y'all just need to get over that shit. Y'all need to get over that shit. And some of us, damn it, hell, we used to fuck with white girls and shit, but then now we hardly care about fucking with white girls, because now we realize, damn it, oh, they're just they're just your agents, tools of you white supremacists that y'all use to help take down black men. So yeah, no, that shit. Hence Jonathan Majors and many others. Fuck you. So yeah, no. I would say when the parents found the phone, they should have. I don't know, man. If they did, whatever. Like they probably touched it, or whatever, barehanded. But hopefully they didn't. Just for the sake of being able to catch prints. Um, you know, but they, with them seeming like, they kind of like orchestrated this whole thing. His so-called friends and them and the people they have connections with. I would put past them if they did like wipe the phone from their fingerprints or anybody else's fingerprints that's been on it. So, but yeah, I would say that, for something like this, for this big case right here, this became national, and we could say in a bunch of cases international. So we can assume that they are aware of it, overseas. So yeah, I would say yeah, it wouldn't be wrong to demand that of them, of those boys, or everyone that was with him and around him, so-called friends and all, get their phones and confiscated and go through their shit. Hell, you could demand that over a crime like this, which you definitely could rule out. Yeah, that is not as what they want as they've been trying to make it to be, which is that he simply just drowned or was just an accident. No, 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 no. Nah, motherfuckers. Nah, y'all did something, damn it. And then once that type of shit comes up, damn it, hell, for their phones to be confiscated, and dug through, oh yeah, some of them will start to bitch out. Yeah, they're gonna yeah they're gonna get all like a little nervous and shit and just be like, oh, and then someone may crack off of that and be like, okay, I'll tell you guys everything. Boom, there you go. All you had to do is just threaten them with the whole confiscating the phones. Matter of fact, don't even give their ass a heads up so they won't have time to delete anything. There's a connection with the events of what went on. And I would say right now would be a great time to do that, to confiscate their phones, as that one black woman said, right? I would say that hey, that'd be wise to do that right now. Like they should have been on that, but because if they was, hey, then we'll be having some answers. So that was a great point that woman made, and also too, yeah, with the routes, when the GPS routes of the boat, and that timeline, yeah, that's very sketchy. So yeah, like the time when the boat was be sinking, y'all doing all this other shit, like going going back to the scene, making sure uh, your shit is cleared, or the scene is cleared and everything, and or you probably went back and got some people, someone to help you out with some stuff, and yeah, to help you cover up even further. So yeah, best believe there is more than one person involved in this. Well, more than just one. Hopefully, I can still be heard. But yeah, let's get into the next one from Comedy Hype. Salute, oh man, it's just this type of shit that calls people to revolutionize, the revolt. Did this type of shit incites these type of things. So there's no crying. Talking about no, you can't. No, we ain't gonna be like, well, no, you can't keep on doing whatever to us and expect us, damn it, to not retaliate within righteous anger, righteous fury, in the name of fighting for peace, fighting to stop the tyranny you motherfuckers have inflicted upon us since the beginning. So now it has been revealed that hey, the great change is not going to come with us not fighting. So hey, in other words, we might as well get the planning now. Damn it, on hey, get together and just get some shit going, man. You have to some kind of operation, man. Like, come on, man. Like, especially to like you, uh, certain like actors and movie stars and want to get involved and pitch in whatever. Yeah, because this is the charity. This is where it will truly show that that they uh that they support the people who supported them instead of just throwing their money to a damn charity for like what some tax purposes type of shit. No, I mean this would be way more of a greater cause than that shit, or where they can or where it's best to put their money in. And that's a great idea too, to help somebody brought up or brought back to my remembrance, because I hinted on that too. That man, like these actors and actresses, start putting their money truly into the black community that they so claim to love, that they so proclaim to love, then, 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 in basically in our security and in our protections, then we probably wouldn't be having such a great time, a great hard time getting these cases solved and us receiving justice. Because that's what it seems. That's what it seems like. What's going to be done is, it's for us to, come up and hey, have to, we'll pay them for information and pay to get a network set up, a network of lawyers. And then they look at that too. Oh man, boy, gather up lawyers too, have a whole one network ran filled with lawyers, filled with civil lawyers from multiple backgrounds that want to see black folks receive justice. Black folks such as our Cyrus Belcher Carmack and our brother here, Nolan Wells, and many others before them. Just imagine that, y'all. Like a whole lawyers, a lawyer network like program, just like a decent big ass building. Just picture that, and you got people in there, the secretaries, lawyers, and all that. Like, you ain't just one secretary, it's multiple. They work together and everything, and just so interchangeably well with each other to where it just runs so smooth to it. And they show that business. There ain't about no bullshit. Yeah, and I guarantee you, man. I'm just imagining in my head right now, like, dude, because they will become big. It will become a very great big thing, and they won't be without clients. Because why? Because there are so many people online. You can go to like on multiple platforms and even go to their groups, say like a civil rights group, like a civil rights Facebook group, and you will find within there many multitudes of people that will come with similar cases of injustices of one another, where they have been done wrong by law enforcement and just their rights like just totally violated. These type of acts right here will happen to this young man, to this young awesome black man. May God bless his family, man. Um, Keep him strong. And also too, it's been said too of there being threats that the family, the mother's been receiving, about, over Nolan. Oh, man, you wicked evil motherfuckers, man. I swear, hey, motherfuckers saying all wild and crazy shit to families, man, like that after, a tragedy that that a family has went through of losing someone like that. Like, man, that's just, yeah. Um, how come that's not in the law? Like, how come you can't pull some type of some shit that what they're doing in the UK and hurry up and grab these sons of bitches and saying like, oh, okay, you expressing that kind of hatred. Okay, where you're showing that you're fucking less than a human. Okay, well, we need to get your ass away from society before your ass. which proven to be a weird ticking time bomb. All right, so where you may pop off with some crazy ass shit. So yeah, let's prevent that now, right? And yeah, and teach your ass a lesson and let you know that yeah, if you go off and do some crazy ass shit off of what the hell in accordance to what the hell we arrested you for, but now partying, but now not partying, but now uh, after this decent lesson you receive, you go out there and act upon these things, what you said, what you're going to do. Okay, we are going to bring the whole hammer of God on you. All right. So this is just to let you motherfuckers know that we're not going to tolerate that. See, man, it just, I know it's nice in theory and everything else, man. It just, dude, I mean, this is just things that what's going to have to, this is what's going to have to be had, man. And for, people to put their money together, man, to get a network set up, man, so we can, have people, some decent, well intelligent people to be willing to fight against these evils and standing for black folks. Dude, just imagine that, man. There'll be a flood of people coming through that building, man, filled with civil lawyers who's at the ready to help the people, man. And where people truly, and we're in the help, we're in it, within the help where it really needs. I mean, where it really matters. The help where it really matters, man. And not them just focusing on or being this thing like we have now where all the lawyers are, and shout out to Ben Crump, for him and Al Sharpton, even though with all the confusion that they have, going on between them two. But hey, shout out to them for at least being willing to stand up, against this shit, and by being with the family. So, and shout out to them for coming forward and being willing to help. But the point is, it's just there should be like 5 more lawyers on this shit. Hell, I don't know the amount, the accordance of the amount of their team of all the people who they may have on their team to help them to get this case solved. But yeah, I mean, there should be plenty, a horde of lawyers coming through willing to help. But no, as they've made it plainly obvious that yeah, a lot of them are focusing on only on these SA charges, which is straight bullshit. So what you think we just supposed to just pull our thumbs and hope and wait till one of you guys are willing to help us? All the while we continue taking the blows of these evil bastards and bastards. I'm just allowing them to do whatever to us on the job, outside the job, just do whatever. Nah, nah, no more, no more. Rise up and give them the damn war they want. All right, from here on out, this is what y'all gonna have to do. You're gonna have to rise up. Rise up against this evil that they have been afflicting upon us, black folks, for this damn long. So let's go into the next video.
There are those that are so full of hate that they would send hate messages to the house of these parents. They sent one that Christine shared with Attorney Crump and I, and it accused her and Elmer of just stirring trouble and accused the lawyers, Attorney Crump and I, or they just want money. First of all, I don't get any money in any of what we do. Most of the cases that you have seen us do, we help to pay the funerals and all of that, and never ask for a dime back, even if they got settlements. But since Mississippi's so special, I'm not only saying we don't want nothing. I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me, I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. Whatever it is, good or bad, we're not going to prejudge it. But we cannot end it until we know all the facts. So all you got to do is reach out to Attorney Crump's office, and National Action Network could do that if it leads to an arrest and conviction. And I guarantee you, you'll have it before the sun goes down. I want to thank Tyler Perry, who has paid for the funeral. We didn't call him. He called me and said, I want to pay for that. I want to thank Byron Allen and others that have contributed, some that don't even want their name called. I was thinking as a scripture in Genesis, the 4th chapter, that passage that starts at the 2nd verse said, and again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought unto the Lord an offering of fruit of the ground. And Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock, and their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. But for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. The Lord said to Cain, why art thou angry? And why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. Cain spoke to Abel, his brother. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. May God add a blessing to the reading of his word. The story of what we have faced in America is a question that started in the first book of the Bible with the first siblings. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Or will we, out of some emotions, some anger, some jealousy, some envy, maybe some bigotry, decide rather than deal with building up the beauty that God put in us, that we will harm our brother and that we will harm our sister, and through some malice try to hide it? But the Bible says that the victim's blood cried from the ground. I hear this morning Nolan's blood crying from the ground. Am I my brother's keeper? Or am I the keeper of some secret, some information that you could give and won't stand up? But the blood's going to haunt you. Those in law enforcement, your job is to follow the oath, not to follow the preference of what goes down. There are those that want me to condemn people before we know whether they're right or wrong. Now, yes, there's some questions around this. And this is not a rally. This is a praise and worship service. And we'll deal with those questions. But, you know, it's interesting. I exercise every morning. I tore my something in my knee about 2 weeks ago. And they told me when they did the x-ray, Reverend, that I had torn my meniscus. And I had to go to get some surgery. And they said when I went to get surgery, they said, well, wait a minute, your doctor has to give us your history so we don't get the wrong thing to deal with your surgery. So the medication you may have and the what you have to do to recoup and the exercise you have, we got to base that on your medical history. Well, the reason why what's happened to Nolan, under unquestioned, unanswered questions, gone, phone and keys found 2 days later. You don't tell nobody you had the phone or the keys. When you confronted, you first tell another story. Then when they finally get the phone and the keys, there are things erased from the phone. There's just too many unanswered questions. Somebody saying that he told us he was leaving the island. So I don't know an 18-year-old person, black, white, or undecided, that gives somebody their phone. I'm a lot older than 18. I wouldn't trust Crump with my phone. So we just raising the questions. Where is my brother? He went out with y'all. He came back not with the where is my brother? And because of the background, like they asked me before they give me surgery, they went to my medical history. So the reason why a lot of people in the nation are looking at this Nolan situation is that we've looked at history in Mississippi. Some of us remember what happened in Mississippi. And because of what happened in Mississippi, doesn't mean it's guilty today, but before we can medicate and heal today, we got to look at your history. Because history will decide, can you handle the medication? I look back into history. And I noticed that Emmett Till happened here. All the way to Medgar Evers happened here. Based on the history, we got to be able to dig deep. We can't have people in law enforcement saying there was no foul play before an investigation. We got to look at the history.
Well, yeah, that, and also for a crime like this, for a heinous crime to happen, like this, such as this, it should be mandatory for all those around them to be put on the lie detector test. Give them a lie detector test, as well as confiscating their phones. Confiscating their phones and laptops. Some people be acting like certain shit is just too far fetched. I can't know. Bullshit. Fuck. Fuck you. Hey, when it comes to like, from what I've been hearing, from when people, are going to certain places overseas where they made it like mandatory or in their law for them to be able to, or to request from you and to search your basically your social media and your bank accounts too. And you got to give them details like of how you got your money, how you earn your money. Yeah, nah, motherfuckers can do all that shit. Then we should be able to over here to put motherfuckers under the lie detector test, damn it, in the name of helping to solve crimes, that's been done to people, to find the perpetrators, to find the evil ones, the evil one or evil ones responsible, and the cops get their phones. And yeah, so that should be a problem when trying to solve a damn case like this. So there's so many questions and and no answers. Yeah, I mean, but it's just, hey, we're here to duck, damn it. Hey, we hear it and smell like hey, that shit's a damn duck, man. We just need a quick question, damn it. If the damn thing is a duck, and recognize that yes, the damn creature is a duck. So, and for them, to still be roaming free, those who was in close proximity to him, it's very maddening. And I can imagine how it can be very frustrating for or I can't imagine how it can be very frustrating for the parents, man. Whew. And I don't see these bastards changing or putting any protections in place for us. I don't know how many lives it's going to take, but I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to rise up. I'm willing to say no more. So, we got another one. Like I said, we're going to follow up with everything that's been talked about with this case. So, all the way to the latest of news. So, this tragedy. So yeah, here we go. And again, shout out to Comedy Hype.
Nolan's life mattered. Nolan's life mattered. Because if something this tragic could happen to their son, it could happen to your children. So we all have to stand up together and say we're fighting for justice for Nolan Wells because he is our son too. And they want us to be quiet. Reverend Al, Reverend Holmes, they want us, Crump, won't y'all just go ahead and, we already told you it was no foul play. What do you keep making so much noise? Well, until we get answers, until we get to truth, until we get to justice, we're going to stand up and we're going to keep ringing the justice bells for Nolan Wells. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells here in Mississippi. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells in the United States of America. We're going to ring the justice bells for Nolan Wells all over the world because Nolan life mattered. Nolan life mattered. Nolan's life
Damn right.
mattered. Nolan's life 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 mattered. The crowds are going to go away. The government investigation going to go away. And they're going to feel so alone, as if nobody cared, that nobody felt that Nolan's life mattered. So I want you to stand to your feet and let them know that Nolan's life matters. 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 Nolan's life matters.
Let me say to Christine and Elmo, before we do the prayer of committal and escort the family out, I just got a text, Christine and Elmo, you know that Tyler Perry said he would pay for the funeral. He must be watching because he said, I'm going to match you and put up $50,000 more. So we putting up $100,000 for anybody that'll come forward. We just want the truth, that's all. We just want the truth. And we want to thank Tyler Perry. He must have been watching. Want to thank Colin Kaepernick, who paid for Colin Kaepernick, a real giant in our community that shouldn't be disrespected by anybody. But I'll leave that for when I get back to Harlem. But thank you, Colin, for what he did for this family.
Well, damn. So Colin Kaepernick, he put in I think he paid for the funeral between him and Tyler Perry. Yeah, I mean, we could say they definitely put in big bucks in this. But I would definitely say though, I'll dare say this, right? I'll dare say this, right? For Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton. I'll say that's probably not enough. It's I'll say one little piece, one spice to that pie that is missing, that is vital and it is what one who has or who is holding or withholding such information, vital information, I would say it'll be logical to rightfully assume that they would want that he or she will want what along with their money, y'all. What would they want? Protection. Because if it's this deep too, right? So you gotta imagine like that one individual, is like, damn, I'm shit, my people, that they're thinking of their people, who may be in high positions too and shit, who may end up not only taking a hit but being targeted by the same little Hydra entity that's working together to cover this shit up. So yeah, so they're gonna want not only money but protection. Al Sharpton and Ben Crump and Tyler Perry. Can y'all provide them that? Have talks of that, of assurities of that you will provide them with not only money but protection. Money and protection. They're gonna be like, oh, I may get the money, but damn, these people, they may end up trying to take me out. Their own fellow whitey. They may try to take me out if I say something. So what good is that $100,000 gonna do for me, Mr. Reverend Al Sharpton? That's what they're gonna say. Yes, Nolan life matters. Nolan life matters. Damn it. I'm with that. Cyrus Belton Carmack life matters. There's many of them. Black men and boys' lives matter, motherfuckers. And you got white people coming forth talking about, hey, Spacer spilling the beans about, I'm seeing these videos. I'm like, I'm not really that surprised. I get shocked and all about it, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, yeah, I've been knowing of them knowing of their own fuckery. And I came across some white people before who have called other white people out on their fuckery, on all was genuine. All the way to the point where they went to blows over such shit. So yeah. But other than that, nah, I'm cool because we are this is war, man. We can't have no more. We can't have no more of this shit. It's like, yeah, y'all want war. You motherfuckers are just a crazy twisted version of the fucking empire. And I'm not a great Star Wars fan at all. But getting the old premise of it and all that shit, yeah, and from the movies I've seen, yeah, and from the data I did collect of that shit, yeah, you motherfuckers are that. So yeah, think about that. Offer them protection. Offer them great protection because they're going to need it. If that one or two decide to come together, or three, even though they're going to be met with some great side eyes and you know, and cats going to talk them up about it, about why they didn't, like step up sooner. with the news, but that may be pardoned because of them coming forth with the news, period, to help, which will in turn help their son get the justice he deserves, to help the family to get the justice they deserve. So, so that part maybe like overlooked to a great degree, because I know I would. But the kids wouldn't leave my sight without catching a few shots to the gut, a few a few gut shots. Damn it, some right hooks. Like, you should have came sooner, but thank you for coming up anyway and giving this information that'll help our son get justice, and I hope justice be done upon those responsible. Because the way this shit's going, man, it's like okay, and I'm looking at you guys. I'm being the man on the wall here. You dig? And from what I'm observing, I'm like, okay, dude, I'm looking at a whole big crucible with a lot of you people on here in this space. And the pathway of this big crucible is into one is the path of the coward, where you're gonna come and talk to me in some kind of defeatist mentality format. So yeah, I'm not with that. No, I'm totally like on some want to go Kratos type of shit. Like y'all are not on my level with this shit. Like y'all don't have the same vigor, the same zeal. My zeal that matches the Most High God of how disgusted I am with such evil and how much I abhor it so. Because now I see it in its true in depth, thanks to the Most High God for giving me these revelations and open up my eyes by blessing such men as a lot of you guys in this space, blessing me to come across you, man, who's have opened up my eyes to see things like further in its depth than what I would ever imagine. Like y'all giving such shocking gems that just it's just yeah, like in as shout out to brother TMT as I got done listening to one of his recent videos he posted. Shout out to brother Think a Man's Templar. You know, it was a great video that he did, man, and it's it's all in relation to what he said, man. It's like I don't know. It's just to me, I see it's like you're either gonna take the path of the cowardliness or get strategic about this and form up, and look at the fact that like, hey, we may have to rise up and on something physical. So, mm, Lord, I'm doing my best right now. I'm doing my best. Because you motherfuckers, because I'm hanging out with motherfuckers, okay, you motherfuckers are, a group of white folks. By that alone, obviously, does not give motherfuckers any right to think they can have a right to do anything to motherfuckers. You don't. End up on trying that black man or black boy or that black woman has every full-fledged right before God in heaven and out of heaven to send you evil motherfuckers to the shadow realm. Though they will try to seek to penalize us, as they always do, to basically say, hey, damn if we do, damn if we don't. But we're declaring, okay, you got us fucked up. And we are going to continue to stand up for ourselves, sir. Mr. President Donald Trump, as you must take heed, as you must adhere to this. Because this shit ain't going to continue. This shit is not going to keep happening. If this happening, then we have families, and the father and the mother of the child that has been lost by such a tragedy, by such an evil, by evil one or evil ones. We just gonna just fall up and grieve together and just wait out, and try to heal. Try to heal after our son was shot in the back, running away from two Asians. No. I don't want such anarchy. I don't. But some purges are necessary. And it's high time for a lot of you evil bastards to be purged. Because damn it, we'd rather have that before we continue to allow you bastards, you evil motherfuckers, to do anything of the crazy to us or to our loved ones anymore. And I know you cats are like, oh, what you gonna do? Oh, you gonna go to war with them? They got this and blah blah. Get your defeated mentality ass away from me. Yes, I'm coming bold. Ray my nigga. Yes, y'all motherfuckers must miss my motto. One versus a million. I don't care how long I've known you niggas. I don't care how long you motherfuckers. I don't care how long it's been that I know you. I don't care. If you come talking to me like that, I'm gonna tell you can go eat a bag of a thousand horse nuts, motherfucker. For all I give a damn, you can shove that defeatist mentality up your ass. Trying to pass that shit along, which is only gonna teach other men and boys to just be on some kowtowing type of shit. Especially that's what it's going. What they're going. That's what they're going to slump into once they see, brother, we already hardly have any fucking help, any barely having any kind of backing to help us to stand against the injustices that have continue to plague us to this fucking day. We got evil motherfuckers hell in the black community. Yes, that's clear. All of you motherfuckers, damn it, who are even that evil to where you just gotta scratch this itch to by inflicting evil upon other people or even your own family members. Yes, I deem all white and black. I deem all you motherfuckers highly incessant. And highly malevolent. So much so, hey, see a nigga coming through the window, had to put a bigger hole in his soul. Shout out to Crazy Bone. As that motherfucker was talking about that gauge. Boom! I don't know what happened. Hey, I've seen some motherfuckers just coming through my damn windows and shit like they on some like they some demons. Them on that rage virus. So I just had to boom, buckshots for that ass. Shit. Boy, I say this, man. Ain't no you evil motherfuckers who love and just to seek to do harm towards black people. A quick death is too good for you. A quick deletion is too good for you. I was going a little raw with it. You know, YouTube is acting funny, want to suppress a motherfucker's views, and watch they suppress my views, y'all, for this one. Uh, a highly viral topic, like one of the top 5 viral topics that's been talked about right now. See, when it comes to, with this, before I decided to dive into it and want to talk about, I wanted to wait for more info, to come out. And as it came out, and which is what I'm doing right now, sharing that info with you from what I've gathered. Instead of just diving like just straight into it like as soon as it came out, because for one, like I said, like it just when you went through such great injustice yourself, some great traumatic event that really greatly affected you on multiple levels that you're still healing from, and all the while, yet still, time still flows, of course. So with that, other things happen to your other, your own people, your own black people, men and women that look like you. Injustice is done to them. Cyrus, the black woman who got shot in the face by a deputy in her own kitchen, who was just reaching to turn off a boiling hot water. Mm. I'm just, I'm just saying, basically, it's very difficult, and so for those 2 reasons, for those prime reasons, that's why I didn't really jump on the story like that quick. Though, though knowing that I'm vehemently against this shit and would speak with such vigor against these evils, in which I was afflicted by too. Because I already told y'all, any more injustice, real quick, any more injustices happen to me, yeah, okay. Because with all this, yeah, man, I realized, dude, you motherfuckers, yeah, y'all showing where y'all have y'all ways to, in y'all abilities to be able to rob us, black men and boys, of our personal legacies. Brought forth the instruments thereof. that played vital roles in destroying our legacies, our personal legacies. So now let me tell you of y'all legacy, you evil motherfuckers. Any more injustices that happen to me or mine, add here, Mr. President Donald Trump. For I've already suffered with the visions of me meeting my end by the way, by way of your law enforcement, of your SWAT team, by me just standing on what's righteous. Because I can't even bring myself to harbor the same fucked up mentality traits as a lot of these people who would seek to do evil upon others, so much so to take their lives for the mundanest and ridiculous of reasons. You deny us the right to live, so why the hell should we fear? But I guarantee you this. I don't give a damn if I have to link up with any of thy enemies. I will have the artillery I need to make sure as y'all come in hordes as y'all typically do in your groups. I would definitely make sure to send you evil bastards straight to your father Satan, as many of you as I can, before y'all take me off this earth. No more. This really pissed me off. Though, yes, as people said, hey, he should have been taught, hey, he should have been taught better to know, hey, not to hang around, a bunch of group of white folks like that and shit, and I'm like, well, in a bunch of cases, as has been revealed with a lot of people, depending on how, where they grew up, or whatever, it could be where they just grew up around, that's all they grew around, that's all they known was just being around a bunch of white people. But then again, hey, our influence is everywhere. So it's just, on that note. But thing is, hey, still, if we operate on that, type of caution, at a high rate, let's say, then we'll have your your undercover bootlickers, your your undercover white apologists. Oh, it's just undercover, some undercover, and some just more uh, plain and bold with their shit. With their ass kissing of these white people and their fuckery. I bet you they they would still come forward and be like, "Man, come on, you can't act like that, man. Not all white people, blah blah blah." And so therefore, booming, as one go along with booming and giving, trying to give white people a chance. You know what I mean? And hey, and to try to show that hey, they ain't gonna be on no focusing on some race type of shit. You know what I mean? Then As one, as some black men and black people have become so trusting of them, and and relaxed about that type of shit. Okay, then look what happens. Look what happens with being willfully obtuse. Not saying that he was, but I'm talking about the willfully obtuse that a lot of these oh white people barely do anything wrong. It's mostly you black people that's the problem type of raccoons. Yeah, I'm talking about different type of raccoons. Them motherfuckers are like impossible. I find. Oh my god, dude. Just yeah, I can't. You know, but so it's like a thing where I'm like, damn. So you raccoons are trying to put us in the same fucked up paradox as these black women and these feminists. It's like you want us to you want to push us in this corner of suffering to where like in a sense like we want us to when we choose to have caution to the degree to where we ain't trying to fuck with white people like that, you know. You want to come down on us, like okay, we're wrong, we're fucked up in the head, by looking at it like oh all white people bad and all that shit, and black people good, and yeah, you want to ride against them. Now, okay, boom, if motherfucker acting like that, you want to ride against them on that. But if he choose to be trusting of some white people to show he ain't no bigotry shit and some fucked up shit happens to him, then y'all want to blame him anyway. What the fuck? Y'all people, man, yeah, y'all just stay the fuck away from me, man. Y'all with this fucked up labyrinth of mentality traits, these fucked up labyrinth of mentality traits, you guys wish for people to play the game of. Nah, nah, fuck that. No, can y'all can take that and go.
Reporting live from Hyper's Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look.
Continue our coverage on the case of Nolan Wells. On Monday, Wells' family, friends, and supporters would send off the 18-year-old who has taken over headlines after he'd reportedly go missing on July 4th during a trip with friends to a Mississippi island. Now, after a 2-day search, Wells' body would be mysteriously found washed ashore in the same location. To note, one of the biggest conversations that need to be answered for many have been what are his autopsy results and how was the condition of his body. For those who watch Wells' service, they would notice that the family decided to not go with an open casket, drawing in more speculation if the condition of his body showed any signs of foul play. Now, while many would view his service from across the nation, Wells' rescue and ultimately body's condition would continue to be a conversation by one of the last people to see his body. During a new interview with TMZ, Cajun Navy's Brian Trasher would go on to stun viewers when he would share what he saw when Nolan was finally found. According to Trasher, who has been a part of the Cajun Navy for nearly 10 years, way up from his vantage point, Wells' body did not appear to be bloated like most drowning victims he's used to. Reporting live from Hyper's Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba. Breaking news coming from the New York Post. It's a sick world we're living in. It's terrible. Nolan. Reporting live from Hyper's Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look.
Continue our coverage on the case of Nolan Wells. On Monday, Wells' family, friends, and supporters would send off the 18-year-old who has taken over headlines after he'd reportedly go missing on July 4th during a trip with friends to a Mississippi island. Now, after a 2-day search, Wells' body would be mysteriously found washed ashore in the same location. To note, one of the biggest conversations that need to be answered for many have been, what are his autopsy results and how was the condition of his body? For those who watch Wells' service, they would notice that the family decided to not go with an open casket, drawing in more speculation if the condition of his body showed any signs of foul play. Now, while many would view his service from across the nation, Wells' rescue and ultimately body's condition would continue to be a conversation by one of the last people to see his body. During a new interview with TMZ, Cajun Navy's Brian Trasher would go on to stun viewers when he would share what he saw when Nolan was finally found. According to Trasher, who has been a part of the Cajun Navy for nearly 10 years, way up from his vantage point, Wells' body did not appear to be bloated like most drowning victims he's used to seeing.
We were coming back up north towards the northwest tip of Horn Island when we noticed there were boats in the center of the island where there's a lagoon tip. And then when we got closer, we noticed there were 2 boats already parked in tandem on the beach. That was strange. It was a Monday morning. It was obvious they weren't fishing. So we descended and to about maybe 450 feet, 500 feet. And we could tell it was law enforcement boats, law enforcement personnel. And then I noticed that there was what appeared to be a body right at the shoreline, laying face down. The one thing I'll say about the condition of the body, and again, I want to stress very, as much as I can, that I'm at 450 feet in the air. But normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating and whatnot. He wasn't in the water that long. The water temperature was high. He has a low body mass index. Normally we'll look for a body to pop up on about day 4, but we knew it was possible he could pop up as soon as day 2. And this was day 2. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look. Now, I could not get a good look at his face. So I was really looking at, his back of his legs, back of his arms. And so that was my vantage point. And I just want to stress to everybody that that's not an ideal vantage point. And plus I'm flying at like 90 knots. So, I'm going pretty fast.
Now, as mentioned by Trasher, a drowning victim typically begins bloating after some time in the water, caused by bacteria inside the body producing gases. It is from the buildup of gases that causes the torso and other tissues to swell that often lead the body to rise to the surface. Now, here's where it gets interesting. According to research, bloating typically begins in warm water, 25 degrees Celsius or higher, around day 2 or day 3, and usually takes longer in cold water. Now, Wells' body was found on day 2 since he went missing, so that timeline aligns. But again, according to Trasher's vantage point, the condition of his body did not align with what many may have expected, because upon research and looking up the water temperature on Horn Island that day Nolan went missing, as well as July 5th and 6th, the water was considered warm to hot, meaning that a drowning victim should definitely show signs of bloating in those conditions. Now, to Trasher's point again, he did say he was flying above when he saw Wells' body, but his admission has caused some to add to the speculation of what really happened. In the comment section of his interview with TMZ, one user would go on to say, "Sounds like he was placed in the water that day," while another would write, "Definitely dumped overnight." Now, those 2 comments seem to reflect some people's feelings who believe foul play was involved, that Wells was somehow returned back to the island after allegedly being fatally attacked. Before his interview with TMZ would come to an end, Trasher would also go on to admit that he found it interesting that Wells' body would end up right back where he was last seen.
It seems like what happened was he was carried north, which indicates to me that he might have got caught in a rip current, and it carried him north. And then as the tide slacked and the current changed back to a southward heading, it carried him right back to the beach. The only thing that really stood out to me that I was not expecting is that he washed up very, very close to the last spot where he was seen alive. I wasn't expecting that.
Now, going back to Wells' funeral service on Monday, at the end of it, Wells' parents and team would continue to spearhead their message of getting justice for Nolan and they would host a press conference to answer questions. Now, it is during this press conference that Representatives Ben Crump will take a moment to call out the slow results they've gotten from the first autopsy and toxicology conducted by the Mississippi State Examiner, conducted on July 7th.
It's always troublesome to all of us when these investigations just take forever. I mean, 6 months to get a toxicology report back, to get an autopsy done, as if, you know, the longer we let it go, the more people forget, other things happen, it gets swept under the rug. And so that's what's important, to have a timeline. And when you don't have that timeline, you start to say, oh, what Nolan Wells, what happened? I mean, I remember that case, but we got no answers.
Now, looking up, preliminary findings typically can be available within 2 to 3 days, and these findings usually outline initial observations and may provide an early indication of the cause of death. And as far as toxicology reports, they can take 4 to 8 weeks. Now, Crump would also share that they are anticipating to get back the first autopsy results before diving into their independent autopsy, since it could be an even better assessment of Nolan's body, given that the state medical examiner had his body much sooner to the time of his passing. Now, before the press conference would come to an end, Crump would go on to share that his team has even gotten a tip that Nolan was seen on the boat of the girl that he was allegedly last seen talking to. According to Crump, they just want the truth no matter who's to blame.
There are people who are presenting videos, photographs that may show Nolan was on the boat with the person, Katie. We got the fully vet that I respect so much what my mentor, Reverend Al, said up there. We're going to go wherever the truth leads us.
As of now, Wells' parents continues to not have answers of what happened to their son that day.
I've seen the photos of his body on the beach. I couldn't see the face, the neck, the arms, the hands for defensive wounds. I couldn't see if there were bruises to the torso. I couldn't see if the skull was fractured. None of that. I couldn't see if teeth were missing. But it seems to me we would know there had been blunt force trauma, stabbing, shooting, manual or ligature asphyxiation. We would know that. But yet, we know nothing.
And a now $100,000 reward on behalf of Al Sharpton and Tyler Perry has been presented in an attempt to expedite those answers. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we're hearing from one of the rescuers sharing how Nolan's body appeared from his vantage point, does it add to more speculation, or could Wells' death be an unfortunate drowning that went unnoticed? Reporting live from Hypers Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, man. Oh, well, those reports did come back, and when his body came back for the second autopsy report, obviously all of his body in its entirety should have returned. None of his organs should have been withheld. Should have been taken from him like that and kept. So that's, I mean, these obvious cover-ups is like it's like there's this fight where they're trying to pull to show, hey, that there's no foul play, you know, and they're really trying to enforce this cover-up, man, like really hard. Like when it's just so obvious now. So what? I'm like, nobody came forth yet because what? Some of the people involved what are debating or what are threatening those who's all involved. Like, so yeah. So whoever tells, you know, is gonna have to face the consequences. So something like that, huh? Okay. All right. Well, his body didn't. He didn't drown. He didn't drown. Justice for Nolan. Let's go to the next video.
Reporting live from Hyper's Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba. Breaking news coming from the New York Post. It's a sick world we're living in. It's terrible. Nolan was my best friend. Those are the words from one of Nolan Wells' white friends, Warren Hudson, who has been publicly criticized for weeks after Wells' mysterious death and disappearance. Hudson, for the first time ever, would break his silence and appears to be ready to respond to accusations that he, along with others, may have fatally attacked Wells at some point during a trip to Horn Island, Mississippi on July 4th. If you can recall, Wells would end up going on a trip to Horn Island with a group of friends, including Hudson, in which later that day his friends would return, but he would not. Now this would go on to spark immediate questions and concerns from Wells' parents. After a 2-day search and rescue, Wells would be found washed ashore on July 6, around where he was last seen. Now, what would occur after his disappearance from several people, including his family, would be considered questionable, such as Wells allegedly leaving his phone with his friends while wanting to stay back on the island because he met a girl he liked, or his keys and phone not being immediately given to his parents, in which Wells' phone would reportedly have to be tracked down by a family friend. Now in his new interview with the New York Post, it appears that Hudson is pushing back on claims that he would do something to his longtime friend, along with the dynamic of race being in connection to the case. He would continue with, "There's no facts out, just a lot of rumors. That's just how the internet is today. That's really it. It's horrible." Now at this time, it doesn't appear to be a lengthy interview, as the 2 quotes mentioned in this report are the only things that have been released from the story, but it clearly shows that Hudson is denying all claims made against him. Now just a few after that would be released on Tuesday night, we would hear more from Hudson, as he would have his first on-camera interview with political commentator Officer Tatum. In the interview, Warren would describe Wells as a brother and reveal that it was nearly 30 people in their friend group that would travel to Horn Island that day.
We had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate boats with us. And so we were all following each other out there as one big group, 20 or 30 people spread out, where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water on, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. Roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats. Yeah. I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island. So we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there, but just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us. Nolan was on Wyatt Pyron's 22 Triton on the way out.
Now, at one point in the interview, Warren would go on to express that he felt Nolan appeared fine every time they would speak on the island that day.
I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, everybody my age and even people older. I mean, it was just a regular thing. We're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, every weekend. I talked to Nolan, and, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations. Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon, Nolan and my buddy James. I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. So,
yeah. Now, just as Hudson would appear to describe departing the island at 4:30 p.m., as mentioned in reports, the interview would be cut short in order to tease a future clip. Now, if you can recall, Warren's stepmother, Judge Ashley Cole, would speak out on behalf of Warren when Wells' body was first discovered. On Facebook, she would say, "No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers." Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Now, we have to note the timing of Hudson's response appears to be somewhat calculated, given that Wells would be laid to rest on Monday, and on Wednesday being the day attorney Benjamin Crump and Wells' family will now release the preliminary findings from their independent autopsy. From the looks of this, Hudson may be wanting to get ahead of another wave of accusations that will be made against him as the early findings of the independent autopsy are set to be released. As mentioned, Wells will be laid to rest on Monday, and one of the biggest questions that came up during his service, did any of his accused friends attended? Upon looking online, from photos and reported accounts, it does not appear that none of the accused would attend the 18-year-old's memorial service. Now, former Mississippi judge and attorney Carlos Moore, who has been following the case and speaking out, would document his travels attending Wells' service in person, where he would run into some of Wells' other friends, and would further shed light on feelings about Nolan being left that day. Moore would write, "Before leaving, I was happy to meet and greet two of Nolan's real friends, as depicted here. Real friends show up in moments like these and never desert someone on an island with no answers or accountability. Proud of these guys and praying for their continued strength as they navigate life without their guy, Nolan."
We do know that justice swings one way when it comes to white people and another way when it comes to others. Talk a little bit about what can be done with this judge speaking out prematurely as a sitting judge. What could be done to her?
I understand that there have already been judicial complaints filed against her with the Mississippi Commission on Judicial Performance. They should open an investigation and they will make recommendations to the Mississippi Supreme Court on how she should be disciplined.
Will we know anything about that from those complaints? How does that go?
You will not learn it until something is filed with the Supreme Court. The Commission's investigation is private. So once it becomes public record, once it's filed, the recommendations are filed with the Supreme Court, and we would know that's when we are here like it was.
Now, as mentioned by Warren's stepmother, he is saying that Nolan wanted to stay back as a way to push back on any claims that he was deserted. From the looks of the case, it appears that Warren and his family are the only ones of the accused talking and defending themselves from any unfavorable allegations. It is unclear if Wells' other friends from the trip also plan to speak out. Now, for many, the findings from Wells' autopsy will help narrow things down on what happened to him that day and answer whether it was an accidental drowning with no witnesses or someone on the island would fatally harm him. The first results of Wells' independent autopsy is set to be announced this morning at the 117th NAACP National Convention in Chicago. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we've heard from Warren Hudson, how do you feel about his solo response? And should the other friends from that trip finally come forward to tell their side of what happened that day? Reporting live from Hype's Club, Fright Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, bro's right. I think John's right on that one. He nailed it. And as anybody else, they also called it to as well. The dude, I can tell his nerves was kind of, sparking as he was talking about it. As he was talking about Nolan and the whole event. Or what they was doing out there. And how it's calculated when his mother called So that lets me know that I don't know, it could be possible where she found out, where he ended up telling her what happened to him, or he may not have been involved, but he knows who and whoever it is, they have some kind of connections with, like some connections with with his parents, his or their parents in his murder, as we are calling it, because that's what it is. We do not need to get L or near from. Oh yeah, I'm back. I don't know what's wrong with this app. I had to go back out and come back in. And yeah, and you see this motherfucker being interviewed by the bitch ass dude, Brandon Tatum. Another, I'll say matriarchal ass. He's another matriarchal cop. And they are a problem too. But yeah, I'll say, dude, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. Him and his mother. That's what we're gonna call that. So yeah. But yeah, let's real quick dive into the next video.
Reporting live from Irish Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Sure. Can I ask you a quick question really quickly? Can I ask you a question? Any extra details? Because we did just get the independent autopsy results today. Anything?
In the latest surrounding the case of Nolan Wells, answers continue to be demanded about the teen's mysterious death that originally was positioned as an accidental drowning by local authorities. Now, as the investigation still continues, some suspect that either local authorities are seeing signs of foul play or are making sure to get answers as public criticism and outrage grows. On Wednesday, Wells' family and attorney Benjamin Crump would present their early findings of their independent autopsy conducted back on July 10th to shed some light for the public of what Wells' cause of death could have been, as speculation and theories continue online. Now, in their findings, they will report that his cause of death is currently undetermined, but for several reasons, which mainly appear due to specific parts of his throat not being returned back to the body for the second autopsy. It appears that the Mississippi State Medical Examiner would decide to keep those findings. Now, as concerning as that has sounded for many, the fact that there was a noticeable reddish discoloration on the back of Wells' head has also added to continued speculation. As noted in previous reports, it appears that Wells' family is not happy with how their local sheriff's office has handled the case from the beginning, as well as the communication with them, which would ultimately inspire them to team up with Crump to apply more pressure for answers. If you can recall, following Wells' body being recovered on July 6, Sheriff John Ledbetter of the Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office would go on to suggest in an interview before an autopsy was even conducted that he did not suspect any foul play. Now, the statement would go on to anger many and have some accuse Ledbetter of trying to cover up the case. Now, as more media begins circulating, it does appear that Ledbetter's early statement continues to bite him back. On Wednesday, immediately following the release of Wells' independent autopsy, a reporter from New Orleans' WDSU would ambush Ledbetter with questions about the case, the independent autopsy, and if he can provide any new information.
Sheriff, can I ask you a quick question really quickly? Can I ask you a question? I'm Chantel with WDSU in New Orleans. I came up here 2 weeks ago to meet with you, but I think y'all were in and out of meetings about the Wells case, and then they told me eventually you just weren't able to come out. So that was like July 8th. So I'm back now. I'm wondering if you guys will be releasing any more details concerning the case. The last thing I saw on your social media was on July 8th, the same day. So any extra details, because we did just get the independent autopsy results today. Anything that you can give us?
Not at this time.
Okay, so y'all are no longer answering questions about the case?
Yeah. I know you're trying to get some edited footage, but
no, I'm just asking. I'm just confirming.
That's all we're saying. We're actively investigating.
Thank you. Name? My name is Chantel. We're from New Orleans, WDSU News.
Doug.
Okay. Yeah,
it's still actively being investigated.
Again, this was from the press conference this morning. When mom said that y'all were saying there was no foul play in the beginning, but now this, has anything changed since then at all, or?
Like I said, we're actively investigating the case. That's still an active, ongoing.
The state medical examiner did not release their report right at this time.
If I were you, I'd check with the district attorney's office too. As far as I know, and you don't have to publish that. That's going through the district attorney's office. That's not. We don't do that. It's state medical examiner.
Now, the moment honestly looks to have caught Ledbetter off guard, but he would continuously state that it is still an ongoing investigation, while dodging in-depth questions and any thorough reactions to the results from this newest autopsy. Now, as you should know, Wells' parents and representatives are mainly after transparency and clear communication from Ledbetter and the local authorities, but it does appear that the sheriff's office is playing by their own rules instead of a collaborative approach, as they continue to remain tight-lipped about any new findings. Now, despite Ledbetter's lack of an in-depth update, many, however, would take to social media to share their reactions to the results from the independent autopsy, including several medical experts, to further elaborate on the findings.
I've done hundreds of autopsies on infants, toddlers, young teens, young adults, senior citizens, obese, morbidly obese, different ethnicities, suicides, murders, accidents, natural causes. I've done them all. So when you tell me there was an absence of the interior structure of the neck, my question is why and where is it? Was it recovered with the remains, or were the remains like this when you retrieve the remains? What part of his neck is missing? Has the soft tissue been preserved, or did the water damage or anything else disrupt what could possibly be used as information to find out the cause of death? Because if his neck is missing, then what caused his injury? The structural integrity of a neck, unless it was decapitated or dealt severe trauma, should be intact. So where's the portion of his neck? The interior, the inside of his neck is missing. Why? What can cause that type of damage to the neck and then the trauma to the back of the head? Did they strike him in the back of the head and stab him? Or did they shoot him in the neck? Right? And he falls back and he hits his head. In which case, in my humblest opinion, he was murdered.
I'm Dr. Judy Melanek. I'm a board-certified forensic pathologist. And I just watched the Nolan Wells press conference. And I wanted to share some context for everyone. Being able to definitively state the cause of death after a body has not been found for several days and has been subsequently autopsied twice with signs of decomposition is incredibly unlikely. Drowning is what's called a diagnosis of exclusion, which means that when you've got a fresh body, you want to be able to look at the body and see if there's any other causes of death for that body that is found in water that exclude the death being exclusively a drowning. So for example, if someone is shot and then thrown in the water, you'll have that gunshot and they'll be bleeding and the gunshot will be the cause of death, and the thrown in the water is not the cause of death. It's not even on the death certificate. If a person is strangled and they die from strangulation and then their dead body is thrown in the water, their body will take on water, but the cause of death is going to be strangulation, not drowning. Also for any kind of traumatic injuries. His body was found 2 days after he disappeared, and this second autopsy done by Dr. Roger Mitchell wasn't until 4 days later. So we're dealing with quite a bit of decomposition, even if the body was refrigerated during that time. And then we have this other issue of the fact that not all the results are back. The toxicology would have been done on the fluids from the body from the first autopsy. From the second autopsy, you're going to have a lot higher alcohol levels from the decomposition caused by bacteria, not caused by drinking. And there's one other important piece of information from that press conference, which is that the neck block, the portion of the neck from the front end, was missing. So Dr. Mitchell did not have a chance to examine that part of Nolan Wells' anatomy. Why is that important? Because if somebody is strangled, especially manual strangulation, the injuries are going to be to the front of the neck. There may be some redness at the back of the neck as well if, injury comes from behind, but generally this part of the neck doesn't have the major blood vessels and the airway. It's the front of the neck that does. So compression or damage to the front of the airway, that's going to be found in the neck block that is still sitting at the medical examiner's office that was not released with the body. So you may ask, is this common practice for pathologists to keep a portion of the anatomy with them at the medical examiner's office and not release it to the family? And the answer is yes. We will sometimes retain important specimens that have pathology in a jar under formaldehyde at the medical examiner's office for further examination or as evidence. And the absence of that neck block is really important because we still don't have information from the first autopsy that has not been released yet. So we don't know if it was kept out of an abundance of caution, meaning that it didn't have any findings and it was negative, or it was kept because it has findings, because there's a broken hyoid bone, or because there's hemorrhage in the strap muscles. Until we get that first autopsy report, we don't know why it's been retained. So why should anybody do a second autopsy? A second autopsy is often done in cases where there is a high-profile case such as this, or there is concern from the family for foul play, and they're just not getting answers from the medical examiner's office because the medical examiner's office is still doing their investigation and is keeping things under wraps, because if there is foul play, they have the evidence, they have the physical evidence that might be able to trap the killer, and they don't want to release that to the public. Even if there is no evidence of foul play, just the lack of evidence is evidence and is important information that might affect how people are interrogated, whether they're going to tell the truth or not the truth about what happened to him. You have to understand that the medical examiner's autopsy is legally mandated, and it is ultimately the most independent autopsy because it's not beholden to the family, it's not beholden to the prosecutor, to the police, to anybody else. It's an independent agency. So that is an independent autopsy, but it takes time. And it takes time until we get all the information back, including the toxicology report. And to answer the question, if somebody's intoxicated and they drown as a result of their intoxication, meaning that they're just, too intoxicated to be able to swim adequately, the cause of death would still be a drowning, but the intoxication would be considered a significant contributing condition. But because of what I said about alcohol forming from bacteria after death, if the body is decomposed, you have to subtract some of that alcohol because it may have been caused by bacteria and may not have been a sign of intoxication. And you can have up to 0.20 gram percent. So 0.08 is above the legal limit in most states for driving, but you can get up to 0.20 in a massively decomposed body. So it really throws you off when you have decomposition and alcohol to try to figure out whether there was alcohol on board or whether all of it's just been made by bacteria.
According to Benjamin Crump in a new interview with TMZ on Wednesday, the family's autopsy is considered pending as they would now await pictures from the first autopsy and hopefully Wells' missing throat to help conclude their findings. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Is Ledbetter's approach to remaining quiet helping or hurting the case? And what does the independent autopsy results suggest to you what could have happened to Wells? Reporting live from Hyper's Club for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Damn right, live better than me. Hell, he knows more than what he's saying and shit. You know, and he's basically he's not. Yeah, he's not trying to give no info, and it's not helping of him not giving any info because you know this it's transparency here, and they're not trying to be that. You know, so kid, he was smacking his gum like, you think you're gonna get me? Uh, You're not gonna get me on camera to say something, you know. I'll just tell you, it's still under investigation. Yeah, he's full of shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Motherfuckers have their hands in his pockets too. So yeah, he's full of shit. And and that one brother who said he done like a whole bunch of autopsies on basically on all groups of people, like well infants to kids and adults. So, and he's talking with great surety too. And I'm with him, you know, because it's so sound of what he's saying, you know. So it's hard to deny that. Like, hey, you know, which part of his neck is missing, and then why are those parts missing? You know, like are they missing because uh, they was damaged? You know, his throat was hit by like what he was shot or something or what? So yeah, man, she come talking about like, hey, you know that maybe will help because of a possibility it could be, you know, some info, you know, that could help them, you know, solve the case, but they ain't just trying to, you know, they're not ready to give it up yet. I'm like, oh hell no, that's you know, don't talk like that's acceptable. Nah, motherfucker, like all the shit, like even if there was evidence, you know, that is to be had on those body parts, on those organs. All that should be delivered with the body in its whole. So you can be examined by you know the second doctor. Yeah. So yeah, that dude Ledbetter he's full of shit. Andy Griffin looking motherfucker. Yeah, he full of shit. Next video. Shout out to Comedy Eye.
Willie D Live.
This is from Willie D. So shout out to Willie D. And fair use.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? There's an old saying, money talk and BS walk. Right now, BS walking a marathon. Money is in the lead by far, man. Yeah. There's a $125,000 reward for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Nolan Wells' murderer. Yeah, fam. You got some information. They are willing to pad your pockets. Yeah, 125. You mean that's all it took? Just a reward? We might have a candidate, fam. This dude right here, he goes by the name of Brad. He says that, hey, man, y'all gonna either come forward and make it right, or I leak everything. Yeah, fam. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, man. I ain't got no problem with that. Leak it. Leak it. I mean, bust it wide open. Call the plumber, man. Call the plumber. Y'all think he woofing? You never know. You never know. But he said, make it right. He said they got to make it right, or he's going to leak everything. Okay. Somebody's going to come forward, especially if that reward money continues to increase. Yeah. Wouldn't that be a good idea, fam? If that reward money got all the way up there, somebody gonna crack. I mean, let that reward money get up there like it gets up there for these criminals who kill black people and get off. You know how they be giving that money out, you know, the uncivilized mutts will reward them for killing black people. Yeah. Even just calling black folks the N-word, you know, they lose their job or something. Next thing you know, they $300,000, $500,000 richer, $1 million richer. But this right here
is crazy shit.
What if we could turn the tables and we pay for justice? And what if we did that every single time? What if we just got on code? If we just got on code and said, you know, from now on, every time this happens, we coming for them. And we're going to do whatever we got to do. We're going to put up a big reward every single time. Every single time we're going to put up rewards. We can do it. We got the money, man. We got the money for everything else. We got the money. We can do it if we wanted to. And the thing about it, fam, is that even if you're the most selfish person in the world, you may as well join the crowd, because at some point, it could happen to you. At some point, it could happen to somebody that you love. And wouldn't it be cool if everybody was benevolent? Already on code, just knowing, okay, it happened here, boom, it happened here, boom, it happened here, boom. That's just what we do. Like they do. You dig what I'm saying? Dude said, make it right. He's talking to Nolan Wells' killers. Make it right, or I leak everything. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. This is him right here on TikTok. Brad's final thoughts. He talks a lot about death. You know, I don't know what he got in mind, but he talks a lot about death. I went down the rabbit hole on some of his videos and stuff, and some of those videos are really disturbing. But yeah, he said directly to Nolan Wells' killers, make it right, or I leak everything. And I tend to believe that he ain't really the type of dude that be bluffing like that. He seemed like he on the up and up. I could be wrong, but it just seems like he's on the up and up. Now, do y'all know what this is? That's Dr. Roger Mitchell. He is the pathologist, the forensic and anatomic pathologist who did the autopsy, the independent autopsy on Nolan Wells. Yeah. He's best known for serving as the chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C., and as president of the National Medical Association. So, dude ain't no chump. They knew what they were doing when they went after him. He is the best in the business. So if there is foul play, he is going to find it. He's going to find it. Right now, he's listed the death as undetermined until he gets Nolan's lungs and his throat from the coroner, the local coroner. Why would they need his, why would they send his body and keep the throat and the lungs, especially when they talk about a drowning victim, which is vital organs that must be checked. You absolutely would check the lungs. You absolutely would check, his throat. Why would they do that? Why would they purposely do that? I submit to you that there's a cover up somewhere. Yeah, I said it, man. I said, I'm not going to hesitate, man. I don't trust them. I don't trust the Mississippi's people in Mississippi, people in America, period. But Mississippi especially, they are the best at killing black folks and getting away with it. Killing black folks and, letting other people who are not black kill black folks and get away with it. They're the best in the game. I absolutely don't trust them. They got a system in place. This is why they never get caught up. Yeah. Roger Mitchell, the pathologist, he did his undergraduate at Cornell University. This dude got like glaring credentials. His medical school was SUNY Upstate Medical University. His residency and fellowship was George Washington University Hospital and New York City's Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. Yeah, he has performed thousands of autopsies. He also briefly served as DC's interim deputy mayor for the Public Safety and Justice. National Medical Association, serves as president of the NMA, the oldest and largest organization of black physicians in the United States. Let's see, academic roles. Tenured professor of pathology at Howard University and previously served as president of Howard University Hospital. Author and expert, co-authored the book Death in Custody. He is a nationally recognized expert on violence as a public health issue. So this guy is the best of the best. He's the one who conducted the privately funded independent autopsy for the family of Nolan Wells. As you know, Nolan Wells, 18-year-old black boy who was found dead on Horn Island, went mysteriously missing after hanging out with his white buddies. All four of them, everybody made it home but Nolan. It's just amazing how that continues to happen. It's amazing how often the black guy goes out and hangs with his white friends. And if somebody ever ends up dead, it's always the black guy. Y'all ever notice that? I'm just saying, if I ain't picking on you white guys, you know what I'm saying? All the good white dudes, hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But your people, man, you got to check your people because there's something wrong with that. How is it that every time the black guy hangs out with all of his white friends, and if something tragic happens, it always happens to the black guy, especially murder? Can anybody answer that? I suspect that these boys got some type of ritual going on, and maybe they consider it a rite of passage to kill black people. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I do know the police is very, very good at circumventing justice when it comes to black folks. And I know they're very, very good at hiding and covering up murders of black people, especially in Mississippi. Mississippi, especially. This dude right here, he's gonna get to the bottom of it. He's gonna find out exactly what happened to Nolan Wells. Oh yeah, he's gonna find out. Now this guy, let's get to the money, man. Why you say make it right or I leak everything? They've already refused to make it right. So go ahead and leak everything and get your $125,000. I suspect that number is going to
Exactly.
grow. But here's the thing. I know you might be sitting back waiting to see how high it grows, but you don't want to mess around and somebody beat you to the punch. Because you know, like I know and we know, more than one person was responsible or involved, at least involved to some degree, in Nolan's death. So you're not the only one sitting back thinking, should I speak on it? Should I go ahead on and collect the money too? Obviously, I don't think it's all about the money with this guy, because if it was, he would just went straight to the authorities and got that money. If indeed we are to believe what he's saying, that he knows and he has information. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
Yeah. Um, Hello, brother. What D was saying. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him, Furious. But I'm half and half with it. I mean, hey, like you said, why not? Um, give them, the footage, the family, and get your reward. And maybe leave the country. Hell, who knows? I mean, if not the country, leave the whole state. Shit. But like I said, really inquire about their protection. So, but also I'm putting it together because what D said in the beginning of this is that the white dude who's starting to, who's starting his deleters, Nolan's deleters, he's starting them that he's gonna leak everything if they don't make it right. Well, because for one, let's consider these factors. His background is dark, so I don't know if he's on some of that witchy shit. I don't know. And then I'm considering a factor too, where Willie D mentioned in the beginning that he was scrolling through his social media and shit, through his profile, and seeing that he was having a whole bunch of talks about death and shit. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the hell this dude might be on. So I mean, it could be, true, and it could not be. But hey, whatever it takes to bring out the truth, so the family can have some kind of relief, so they can be assuaged to some degree. So these negative emotions can be assuaged to some degree. But yeah, and he's right too. I mean, hey, like I was saying before, cats put their money together and help people, especially those who have it, who has a great deal of that. Um, put it forth to those who don't have the money to afford a lawyer, because there's a lot of people out there, including myself, who's looking for pro bono. And yeah, and people coming together who are black and who care about black people, even if they're not black, but they care about black people to some degree, to enough to where they're willing to put some money on it, to put some money on helping the one that was victimized or those who was victimized to receive some justice, to get a lawyer so they can get some kind of justice, some kind of retribution. So yeah, so let's go into the next video.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Mississippi medical examiner Stacy Turner is under complete and utter scrutiny. Yeah, fam, they are on her head. Why? Because Stacy sent Nolan's body to D.C. with all kinds of parts missing. Yeah, fam. Yeah, see, when you're dealing with these big bad wolves, the best thing that you can do is expose them, especially when they're in these little small towns and places like Mississippi. These people, they run things differently. They have their own set of laws. They don't go by like regular laws that was meant for 2026 civilization. They're stuck in the 16th, 17th century. Yeah, fam. This woman right here, fam. This is Stacy Turner, medical examiner for the state of Mississippi. She was tasked with the duty of allegedly trying to discover what caused Nolan Wells' death. Okay? She is the one that's over the autopsy. And here's the thing, fam. The independent autopsy that was performed by Dr. Robert Mitchell, a world-renowned pathologist, it raised serious questions that deserves serious, and I mean dead serious answers. According to the preliminary findings, the independent pathologist could not determine Nolan Xavier Wells' cause or manner of death because critical evidence was unavailable for examination. And fam, we're going to get into some other stuff in a minute, but first, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what she did. Let me tell you what she did with the body, particularly. Among the reported limitations included that the body was received without the neck. Did you hear what I said? I said the body was received without the neck. The internal organs had already been dissected. The lungs, airways, stomach, and complete neck structures could not be independently evaluated. Toxicology was not provided for review. The examination could not independently confirm or exclude drowning. Neck injury could not be ruled out. Other contributing or intervening causes of death could not be ruled out. Because of those limitations, the independent examination states it could not exclude foul play. What I want to know is, fam, how the hell did she think the man was going to be able to do a complete autopsy if they were not going to send the body intact with all of the organs that need to be tested? We got the lungs. We know. Look, fam, you ain't got to be no pathologist. You ain't got to be no major coroner, none of that, to know that if you have a potential drowning victim, or you have a victim, or you have a dead body that is suspected of drowning, then you got to test the lungs. You got to test the throat. You got to test that neck area. Otherwise, you're not going to know. It would be impossible to find out. So why would she send that body, knowing especially that this case is under so much scrutiny? The eyes of the world is on this case. The eyes of the world is on Mississippi. The eyes of the world is on Stacy Turner. And she still did this. So imagine what she's doing when the cases are not high profile. If she can do that, if she can behave that way. And another thing, fam, they sent, well, there was documents released from, well, that was not in connection with the medical examiner's office, so I'll leave that alone. But in any event, you have this medical examiner who has also examined other bodies of Black people who had mysteriously ended up dead, right? Suspected being killed by white people. Look it up, fam. You ain't gotta take my word. Look it up. There are several cases, specifically of Black males, killed or found dead, and the cause of death that Stacy ruled was undetermined. Stacy, hey, undetermined. Hey, look here, undetermined. How in the hell does somebody get a job that important and they're that incompetent? Or some people might say that criminal. Some people calling her straight up criminal. Some people saying what she is doing is straight up criminal. Yeah, fam. I want you to take a look at that. You see that? That is the hyoid bone, right? The removal of the neck structure is very important because the body has one hyoid bone that helps support the neck structure. And it determines if a person was strangled. So how can you even make that determination? I'm surprised the way that they're moving, the way that the state of Mississippi moving, the way the medical examiner's office is moving, the way Stacy is moving. I'm surprised she even sent the body with a head. I'm surprised I'm surprised the body had a head on it. I'm not feeling this at all, fam. I'm not feeling this at all. And then they said that, they also said that the body, when it was transported, a couple of nurses jumped online on social media and said that the body was transported face down. The body was transported face down. Total disrespect. Look, I ain't no EMS. I'm not in, what do they call them? Emergency services, first responders. I ain't none of that. But I ain't never, ever, ever seen a body, living or dead, transported face down. That is total disrespect. Total disregard for human dignity. Mississippi, when y'all gonna catch up with the rest of the United States of America? I mean, just be regular old racist. Not this going out of your way to kill, and almost seem like you got some type of ritual going on. Almost like it's some type of rite of passage to kill Black folks and get away with it and make sure that your people get away with it. Like all your agencies kind of work hand in hand to look after each other, to cover. Yeah. When y'all gonna catch up? I mean, when y'all? Yeah, and this is bad. This is bad. The results are gonna come back. I do believe they're gonna try to protect themselves by saying that it's undetermined. They're gonna try to say the death was undetermined. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think straight up saying we suspect no foul play would be just way too brazen. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they're going to try to come back and try to find some middle ground and say undetermined. And that way she saved her job. She saves the department from being further scrutinized and investigated. And, she gets to also save her relationship with the people in her community who are uncivilized mutts, who think very little of Black people. It amazes me how Warren Hudson, who was interviewed yesterday by Officer Tatum, that he was to say that he and Nolan were best friends. Yet, when questioned about his relationship with Nolan's parents, he said, well, he really didn't have one. He'd never been to their house. He's never been to Nolan Wells' house, but that's his best friend. Come on, fam. What best friend has you ever had in your life and you've never been to their house? You've never been to their house, not one time. But this has been your friend. And this is not just a friend for summer camp, okay? This ain't the friend you met for all you people that like to meet friends, and you meet friends very easily. As soon as you meet somebody today and say a couple of words, that's your friend. No. You introduce them, somebody else walk up, you say, yeah, this is my friend, such. No, not that. According to Warren, he and Nolan has been friends since elementary. But he ain't never been to Nolan's house. If he lie about that, he will absolutely lie about something else. Yeah, I don't trust him. I absolutely don't trust him. I don't care nothing about him talking to Officer Tatum, talking about we wasn't the only ones out there. There was other people. That don't mean, I don't give a damn. There was 10,000 people out there with him. We know he came with y'all, and y'all left him by himself. Y'all left him. He came with y'all. So it don't matter how many other people were out there. They trying to make it seem like, oh, it wasn't us. It could have been anybody. We don't know who was out there. There was hundreds of people out there. We don't know. It was a lot of people out there. We don't know who if he did die, somebody killed him. It wasn't us, because it was a lot of other people out there. No. One of y'all or all of y'all had something to do with it. And keep waking up. The truth gonna come out. Y'all know that reward money is at 125 right now. And it may get a lot greater later. Really say, man, because it seems like that's what we need to start doing. Just putting rewards on it. Just put the money up. Man, we got to get used to it. Just start putting the money up. Let's just start pooling our resources and putting a number on it. Somebody going to speak. Because that's the only reason why a lot of these people do a lot of things that they're doing now, accosting Black folks and calling them all kind of names, and even when they shoot and kill, and then they get rewarded for bad behavior. So let's start punishing them by making sure that we put some rewards out there for good behavior for the people that come forward and tell what they know. Yeah. I'm down, fam. What say you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
No lies told. But really do on that one. Because, yeah, I'm like, dude, yeah, if you such a best friend of his, you know what I mean, then what? How come his mother said you never been in his house? Come on, man. Like, yeah, dudes, I kind of figured dude was full of shit. So, I figure he's really full of shit. And he's talking to another dude who ain't shit either. His damn self. So, yeah, Officer Tatum, that bastard. But yeah, he had handed. I believe that dude had a hand in it. A young dude, a young white dude. I believe him and others that had a hand in it. And I'm agreeing with Brother Willie D on that one. He's right. motherfucking shit. Hey, I don't give a damn if there's 30, 40,000 motherfuckers out there. Hell, you was a group that he knows of, hey, and so therefore, like, y'all are responsible, and you guys are shown to where, yeah, you guys are the perpetrators right now. So I figured, okay, maybe they may be out, they may be alive and up, roaming around doing whatever, but I don't know. Like I said, me, I'll be on some Predator Yacha clan kind of type of shit with y'all, boy. Man, do some evil to me or mine, and think you just gonna walk through just laughing while you go to and fro? No. Consider that self-haunted. And all you evil bastards that is involved and is playing this cover-up game, yeah. And it comes to find out, Devin, that they were withheld and shit. They need to sue. They need to sue that whole damn state. So I can't stand it, man. But yeah, let's go to the next video real quick.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? The operator or captain of the boat that transported 18-year-old Nolan Wells to Horn Island has not been charged or even arrested. Yeah, fam. That is because law enforcement is saying that right now, currently, there is no evidence of foul play. There's no evidence of foul play. That's what they're saying. Well, I say different. These guys right here, I do believe, know what happened to Nolan Wells. I think they know what happened. In fact, I know they know what happened to Nolan Wells on July 4th, Independence Day, when he and his buddies, they all went out boating, having fun, and Nolan was the only one that didn't come back home. You know, there's something wrong with that picture. Let's start with the emergency towing dispatch call. When the boat experienced a bilge pump malfunction and called a private towing company for help, the operator told the dispatchers that everybody is on board and safe. Because Nolan Wells was left behind on the island, this was either a deliberate lie to mask his disappearance or a sign of gross negligence. Pick one. A deliberate attempt to mask his disappearance or gross negligence. Pick one. I don't know which one it is, fam. Maybe it's both. How about that? We just pick both of them. I just don't believe these dudes. I don't trust them. Their behavior is inconsistent with what a friend is. How many times have we seen friends abandon friends, so-called friends abandon friends when it gets hot in the kitchen? Now, here's the biggest reason why many people, especially legal experts, say that the captain should be charged. The captain should go to jail. It's seaman's manslaughter and maritime law. U.S. maritime law, specifically 18 U.S.C. 1115, which holds a captain or boat operator criminally responsible if a passenger's death is caused by their misconduct, negligence, or inattention to duties. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, he's a grown man. He can do what he wants. Come and go. No, not so fast. See, they got this thing called abandonment or reckless endangerment. I think we all can agree that leaving an individual behind on an uninhibited barrier island, especially without securing alternative transport, constitutes reckless endangerment or abandonment. Wouldn't you say? I absolutely would say that Nolan Wells was abandoned. Nolan Wells was caught up in the reckless endangerment of his captain. There you go. There you go. Listen, fam, if you can't accept the responsibility and the liability that comes with operating a boat, you should not be at the wheel. Point blank, period. You should not be at the wheel. Just like if you were inside of a vehicle, a car. If you can't handle it, you should not be at the wheel. They don't get no pass. I mean, come on, fam. Let's address the elephant in the room. Flip the race. Flip it. Flip it and have 3 black boys, 4 black boys. The white boy hanging out with him. The white boy end up dead, floating. What do you think gonna happen? Those black boys they would have charged them. They'd be charged right now, no bond. They'd be trying to figure out, well, we don't know exactly if they did it or not. We don't know, but as a precautionary measure, we have given them, we've decided that if they're found guilty, they may end up with about 60 years apiece. So we're going to hold them based on what we think could happen in the future. We're going to keep them in jail for the public safety. These guys could be killers. Now, obviously, I'm being facetious, fam. I'm exaggerating and going on, but hey, that's really how a lot of them think. If they can get away with it, they would. The captain, whoever the captain was, needs to go to jail. Point blank, period. Somebody got to pay for this young man's life. Somebody's got to pay for this young man's loss of life. Somebody got to pay. The friends on board stated that Nolan Wells chose to stay on the island and hang out with another group, and they believe he was getting a ride back to the mainland with someone else. Well, we don't pay you to believe. We pay you to know. So you should have known, should have made sure. We come together, we leave together. If we let them continue down this rabbit hole of Nolan somehow ended up dead on the island, and he somehow drowned, then we have to ask them to produce witnesses, because by their own admission, there was hundreds of people out there. So how does the guy who is more unique by color drowns and nobody sees anything? Get out of here, man. Come on, fam. Born in the morning, but not this morning. Get out of here. He killed him. Point blank, man. Point blank. Nolan Wells was murdered. He was murdered. Point blank. Did I mention he was a strong swimmer? Not just a swimmer, but a strong swimmer. Now, I know even strong swimmers sometimes drown, they die, but usually if it's hundreds of people around, somebody seen something. At the very least, they heard the water splash. If you hear the water splash, you look around. Everybody accounted for it? Cool. Come on, fam. I've been on boats. I've been on a few boats. I don't like boats, by the way. But I've been on a few boats. And the whole time you're on a boat, the whole time I've been on a boat, I've never been just comfortable enough to just close my eyes and go to sleep. Well, I did once, and I woke up and the water was hitting against the windows, and I thought it was over. So never did that again. But that boat, those boats is nothing nice, especially the small boats. Nobody's sleeping on those small boats like that. Nobody's sleeping on those type of boats. And it's the 4th of July. It's going down, fam. It's going down. There's people everywhere. People having a good time. You saying nobody saw nothing? See, that's the part they can't answer. That's the part Warren Hudson can't answer. He didn't see nothing. And why did they leave so early? By his own admission, by the rest of them on admission. Hey, man, it was going down. It was partying. Everybody's out there. This is the destination. This is where everybody want to be. When the last time you left a party as a teenager before the party was over? It's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. They leave the island. Why? Why are they leaving? Why? You know, that's another question they still haven't answered. Let's say let's say he was killed on the island. Why did they leave so soon? Why did they leave so soon? When you are a captain of a boat, you're responsible for the boat's occupants. If something happens to one of those occupants, you are responsible. You are responsible for the boat being the boat's upkeep. Whatever licenses that's attached to that boat, you're responsible for that if you're operating that boat. If there's something wrong with that boat, they said the bilge, they had problems with the bilge. If something's wrong with that boat, that's on you. You can be arrested. So what's the holdup with arresting the operator? And by the way, I don't believe they've actually told us who exactly was operating the boat. We know the boat belongs, well, we don't know, but they said, they be lying. But they said the boat belongs to one of the family members. Who? Which family members? Who did the boat belong to, and who was operating the boat? Yeah, the captain absolutely knows. Let me hit y'all with a cold-blooded reality. Let's say this case moves forward, one way or the other, whether arrests come down the pipeline or the case stalls out and they decide nobody's going to be charged, okay? These dudes who were involved, they're all going to be able to continue their life and have a bunch of fun and be accepted by their community, because the community they live in, they got the same type of mentality. There's others who have done what they did. Yeah. So they're going to be accepted. They're not going to be outcast. They're going to be accepted. And there's others who know the extent of their involvement, who are going to be quiet. They're not going to say anything, but they're going to think they're the good ones. Nope. You ain't no different. You just like them. You're absolutely just like them. Yeah. Your mom and your daddy is too. Lock them up. Lock them up. Lock those uncivilized mutts up. No more talk.
Damn right, lock him up. Hell, lock him up and shit. Hell, throw away the damn key. After you throw their ass in under the damn jail. Hell, them evil motherfuckers for it, man. And I said, yeah, he's right too. Damn, the price keeps going up, man. And you know, the reward money keeps going up. Then motherfuckers, even when the right thing should have been done a little sooner, but they're gonna. Hey, those in their right mind will be grateful all the same. So yeah. I got another. I was trying to see how screen share work on this, but I think there's one more. Let me see. Yeah, last one. Here we go. And you guys can come up too if you want.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Apparently, people are offering unsolicited advice to Christine and Elmore Wansley about how they should go about seeking justice for their deceased son, Nolan. Ain't that something, fam? They're telling a grieving family how they should grieve. They're telling a grieving family how they should go about seeking justice. Did I mention they have like this big time legal team leading the way? Did I mention that part? Don't worry about it. Anyway, fam, Christine apparently had enough of it and she hopped on her Facebook and said this: please do not call my husband's phone trying to give us advice about how we are handling the death of our child, telling us how to handle people and questioning our legal team. We are all doing our best. At the end of the day, the only question Elmore and I need answered is, what happened to our son, Nolan? I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, fam. Here's what I did. For those of you who say that you care about the family, but you just don't know how to quite show your support, to make it easy for you, I've taken the liberty of writing down some practical and compassionate ways that you can show your support. Number one, listen more than you speak. Yeah. Let the family share what they want to share when they're ready to share it. Yeah. Number two, respect their decisions. They are living through something that most people can't fathom. I mean, and you don't want to fathom that. They're going through it right now. They're living it. They have to speak of their son in the past tense. I've been watching them carefully, and there have been times when they speak of him in the present tense. You know, it's like, and I've caught myself doing that from time to time when people that I was close to passed. You know, it's just very hard to speak of them in the past tense. But, you know, they have to, you know, do that. That ain't easy, fam. That's a lot of weight. Don't second guess the legal team, family. If they've chosen professionals who they trust to help them navigate through these treacherous judicial system booby traps, let them be, family. Let them be. Let them be. Avoid rumors and speculation. Now, that's a hard one because, you know, we all got ideas. We all got thoughts about what we think happened. And, you know, and I'm guilty of that too. But I do believe that there should be some, just a little wiggle room for us to, you know, who are following this case. And that's a tough one, y'all. That's a tough one. But I think it's important that we at least know that and be cognizant of it, right? If we're going to speculate, be cognizant that the family is listening, or they might be listening. So whatever we do, let's just make sure we do it in respect out of the family. Make sure we respect the family, right? Offer practical help. Now, this is a big one right here. And this is something that I'm really, really good at. Helping out with meals, childcare, errands, transportation, or simply just checking in on the family can make the world of difference. I've done that many, many times. I'm the dude when something like that happens, somebody close to me, the first thing I do is before, or after giving my condolences and asking what can I do, I order food. I go order food. Sometimes I pick it up myself and go take it to them, if I'm in the same city. Yeah. Honor the loved ones, right? Keep the focus on the memory of the deceased. Keep the focus right now, in this particular case, keep the focus on Nolan. Remember, this is a young man, 18 years old, not even in the prime of his life, just really getting started. He's a student athlete. He's beloved. He's a beloved son. He's a beloved brother, cousin, nephew, grandson, friend, for the real friends. He's a likable guy. And I feel like when we lose somebody like Nolan, we all get robbed. Because there's an old song, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing there's too little of. I know if some of y'all that sound corny, but that's why we're in the position we're in right now. The only reason why it sound corny is because, or it might sound corny, is because of the way we treat each other. Man, we treat each other bad out here, man. I'm talking about bad, the stuff that we do to each other. Even the people that we call our friends, we'll take them out on a boat, and, we'll act like something happened to him. Next thing you know, something did happen to him. Find the body a couple of days later, and then we'll straight up go dark. We don't offer the family no condolences. Everybody protecting their own ass, right? Get off social media, delete all our accounts. We lawyer up. That's what friends do. That's where we are right now with our friends. Respect the boundaries. If that family asks for privacy, give the family privacy. If Christine says, hey, stop calling my phone. Stop calling my husband's phone, telling us what we should be doing. Stop calling the woman's phone and her husband's phone, telling them what they should be doing. You sound like one of those people who call themselves a friend of the black community, who instead asking us how they can help, they tell us what we should be doing, how we should feel, when they do not have the lived experience. You do not have the lived experience. So you are in no position to tell those people what they should be doing and how they should be grieving. That is preposterous, man. What the hell is wrong with people, man? Be patient, family. Grief does not follow a schedule. Be patient with the family. Because every family processes loss differently. Every person processes loss differently. I can look at Christine and Elmore when they're doing their press conferences and stuff, and I can see something different happening in both of them. Oh man, it breaks my heart, man. I can see it. I can see it. Christine is like, oftentimes, you can see she's wearing her emotions on her sleeves. Elmore is right there next to her. He right behind her, holding her up. Elmore, as the man, he can't afford to show weakness, because he got to hold up Christine. Man, come on. He got to hold Christine up. I'm sure that man want to cry. I'm sure he want to break down. I'm sure he want to just, not even have to do the press conference. I'm sure he want to do something else. You dig what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? But you could tell the way he's moving.
All right, if you want to listen now, you go over to Willie D, Brother Willie D's channel, and check him out. Shout out to him, and thanks for allowing us to share over here in the Humble Force. Appreciate it. Um, but yeah, they're totally out of line, and that's what I can't stand with motherfuckers, man. Like, what is up with these crazy ass people? What they put in the air, man, to make these motherfuckers just become like even more so narcissistic and controlling, like a control maniac and shit, and they don't get their way, and then they want to call the police on you, type of shit. You know what I mean? When you don't allow them to, when you stand up to their antagonism, and that ass backwards shit needs to stop. It definitely needs to stop, especially to these unwanted messages that you crazy bastards been sending to his wife. I mean to his mother. Trying to control motherfuckers, man, know how to grieve and shit. It's like, damn, you motherfuckers, there's motherfuckers out here trying to cut your. They always try to control other people in all aspects. Now I think about it, like, damn, even when it comes to the most basic and trivial of shit. Even when it comes to like you dealing with somebody on the job, whether it's supervisor or whatever, and they just don't like, I don't know, maybe the way you sweep or some shit. And leave that alone. Just this whole situation pissed me off. Man, it pissed me off. Rest in peace, man, Nolan Wells. May you rest in peace with God. May God bless his family and heal them, comfort them, and to give them the justice they deserve. And to bless them with the answers they need and giving them the full truth. And it's in Christ Jesus' name, your name I pray. My God. Amen. And yeah, like this is bizarre, dude. Like motherfuckers will try to control you like to when it comes to sweeping. You on the job, you're sweeping, and the cat just don't like how you sweep or how you clean. But either way, the job still gets done. So it all reveals that they're just trying to be on some super controlling shit. And then by you stand up against them in that wicked, inhumane ass, kind of mentality of theirs, they want to blame you and rant and rave and rah rah all loud about how you're the one in the wrong. What? Motherfuckers do not have to live these fucked up mentality traits that's way left field from how God intended for us, for us and how we should be and treat one another, those who are willing to follow him in his ways. But thank you guys for coming through. Hit the like, share, subscribe on your way out. Share. Hit the hype if it's there. And yeah, so we'll be covering some more stuff here soon. But I had to get this out, man. I'm like, damn. So you crazy bastards just trying to be some controlling shit instead of just being willing to uplift his mother, the family, and not trying to play dictator. I can't stand all these wannabe dictator ass motherfuckers, man. It's just shut the fuck up. It's like that's why you got to check that shit at the gate, boy. Because if you dumb motherfuckers gonna believe they can just run all over you. Nope. But hopefully that shit comes to a stop. The whole harassing the family and shit. Motherfuckers are just beyond wicked. Motherfuckers are just beyond wicked, man. Like, yeah, the whole damn country is fucked up and corrupt. But thank you guys for listening. It's your guy Ray Hama, 1 versus a million. I'm not your fan. I'm not your stand for. I am brother. I'm out. Peace.